Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer, the official Patagory competitive channel. It's really great to see you all here, and I am hype as hell to be with three of the greatest human beings to grow a beard this side of the Thursday show. Nathan Prescott in the house, sink fitter extraordinaire. How are you doing?
Doing all right, man. You?
11 out of 10. Bit tired, as you can imagine. I haven't slept for 37 years, but apart from that, doing really well. What about you?
Yeah, I'm great. I think I might have slept for 37 years, so I'm feeling fine.
Oh, fuck. Thank you to Semp the Great for subscribing in the chat, by the way. Big love to you. Thanks. I'm going to say hello to you all in a minute. James, back from your travels. Yeah?
What up?
Where have you been travelling?
I said, what up?
Oh, dog? Is that
what up, dog? Yeah. Woof woof.
I'm moving on from you. Fuck you. And then I'm going straight to Dan. What up, Dan?
I'm good. I'm great. For now. I had to get a COVID test this morning. I need to get 3 a week.
Okay.
I'm tested 3 times a week for work. And this morning I got the least gentle human being I've ever had. I mean, none of them are fun, but this one, like, I walked out like coughing, and I'm pretty sure I felt it in my brain. So I think he was going for a frontal lobotomy thing. Yeah, I mean, I made a joke as I walked in. I was like, hey, I put a few crayons up there. I haven't found one of them. And I think he took that to heart. So my face hurts.
Okay.
But flip side is I'm most likely still COVID free. So that's fun.
Okay, nice. Well, that's
Well,
good.
Yeah.
If you had COVID, he squashed it.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? COVID doesn't hurt you if it's in your brain. So he was just like fucking hammering it up there.
I'm more with Melinda Gates that I don't think we should get it. Like that's kind of where, but that's only because I really want to get in her pants because she is minted now. So that's kind of where I'm on that front. If I'm honest. Aki on the 3AK, thanks for subscribing.
And I just wanted to let everybody know the conversation they dropped in on as we started is that Rob's on a hair trigger today. So let's see if we can make him snap.
No, that's true. No, that's true. I'm just not a very good person. And so sometimes the rage in my soul boils to the surface. Hello, Collaroo. Thanks for subscribing. What's going on? Lol Spirit of the Wind works. So today is an exciting show. It's fucking great. There's some incredible stuff to talk about. Number one, Age of Sigmar 3 announced, basically launched. You just take the reveal show from the other day, where they just said it's out, and then we watched Sam Morgan's video. We can start playing straight away. Thank you to Martin Orlando, AOS, for subscribing. I know in no way, and thanks for gifting a gift subscription as well. I know that'll make Chuckabutty furious, but I appreciate you for doing so. You two have got a grudge match. He doesn't know that yet, but he's, oh yes, fucking Tony Moore's in the chat. What a great guy. So we got the Age of Sigmar 3 to talk about and all of that and how you all feel about it. That's really fun. We have a Lumineth FAQ, which is honestly really well done. In fact, actually, I think it's a good indication of what we might see FAQs in the future. This is our opportunity to talk to our spokesman about Age of Sigmar 3. Let's go cut over quickly to him and see what he thinks. Damn it. I didn't queue up the right media source. Give me 1 second.
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything.
Thanks, Jez. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Jez. It's very nice to have you giving us that info. Watertight media source and no ambiguity in this FAQ. So we got that to talk about. We've also started to see rules for Gravelords who are on pre-order this weekend, which means all the content creators are going to be doing their pre-order videos this Saturday. So that means we're going to find out the rules this Saturday for what Legion and Nagash 2.0 is going to be. Dan, I know you were furious at the bit as to whether or not that they would end up with endless spells and also some sort of terrain piece. Do you know what the situation is there?
I am currently unaware of that situation. So
they are cardboard tokens for your gravesites. How you feeling about that, James? Cardboard tokens. Could we start selling those?
I mean, I probably wouldn't want to. What I don't understand, so I was having this debate yesterday, was in the Cursed City box, probably shouldn't talk about that, was like some little tiny graves. Why didn't they just make them?
No, you know what? Okay,
Nathan, hold on. Let's Nathan weigh in on this heavy subject.
What? They're dead things. I don't care. Just waiting for my big horse boy fella to come along so we've got something to ride into battle.
Dan, you had a point to make. Please go.
Okay, I think
has got himself a big horse and he's going to ride it over the hill. And
a big horse and then some big squigs to carry his cape, his little superhero cloak. No, I figured it out. What it is it's clearly Games Workshop throwing some love towards third-party model makers and 3D printers because they were like, hey, this is obviously a really important way that this army plays. So I think it's going to be key if we let them develop models for us and sell them. Just like the objective rings. So that's my read there is they're looking for other people and they're just crowdsourcing the model design.
11 out of 10. I'm in for that. Okay, there's so much to talk about. I'm just going to dive straight in. I'm going to do a quick round robin, see how everyone is. Nathan, how are you? And have you painted anything recently, yes or no?
I'm great. No.
Perfect. Dan?
I am excellent. I am spacey.
Okay. James?
Super good.
Okay, and I would just like to dedicate this show. This is an important one because this is probably going to be a show that gets watched a lot. There's a lot of stuff. I just want to shout this out to Dan's mum, who's a legend. That's who we're dedicating the whole show to Dan's mum, who is just great. Arguably even better than Dan, apparently, but just a total star. So the whole show is dedicated to her. I just like everyone to remember that.
I'm happy to put it out there that my mum is significantly cooler than me. Yeah, I'm gonna go crack a beer to her. She's like, not only is she just a general badass. Like I rocked up home one day and I was like, "Oh, Mum, your makeup looks really good." And she's like, "Yeah, I had it tattooed on." I was like, "Sorry, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got sick of putting it on every morning, so I had this tattooed on and this tattooed on and this tattooed on." I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, basically as much as can be attached to my face via needle, the better." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yep, sweet." And then I went with Mum to get another tattoo. She's like, "Just fucking do my eyebrows." And like, she's sitting there, not even blinking while they're like driving needles into her face. And then she like buys a new leather jacket. And I was like, "Oh, what's that for?" She's like, "For my motorbike." It's like, What? And then she just rode off into the sunset. So my mum's cooler than me. I've established that my mum is cooler.
Is she one of the YouTube thugs? Because she sounds like a YouTube thug.
No, she's more like an ocean person. However, to be fair, she has said for anyone in the chat that thinks they might be in with a shot, you need a yacht. So if you don't have a yacht, you don't have a shot.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's exciting. Can I thank Refos for subscribing? And thanks to Joe Cryer, default in the chat, for donating 5 gift subscriptions in the chat. That's Stimmy Check. I didn't know you were getting a second Stimmy Check, so excited about that. Thanks, Joe. Big love to you. That's really lovely of you. Thanks so much. Okay, James, finally, how are you? And have you painted anything?
I thought we did, mate. Yeah, I'm super good. Have I painted any? Oh, I painted a bunch of bases is all I've done.
Okay.
Nothing exciting,
Right,
I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, base layer and all
What are
that.
the bases for?
For a box game that we do not talk about.
Why don't we talk about the Hexed Hamlet?
People don't like it. It's not Games Workshop. We can't talk about it on the show.
What, the Voodoo Village?
Yeah, the Voodoo Village.
What were the other ones this week?
We got loads. There's an emote in the chat. There's a Hexed Hamlet emote in the chat. Banned famously from the Warhammer TV Live Twitch chat.
Oh, this is the best day.
Yeah, the bedeviled borough. Yeah, there was a lot. I just need to thanks to Elka Reb for donating 500 bits to the show. I need to thank everyone for tuning in live, all the YouTube thugs and all the podcast Hydro homies. Okay, right. First off, we're going to jump back to Monday because I haven't heard. Oh no, I think I have. We've had this conversation. Nathan, you love Kragnos. You're going to ride that pony all the way to Destruction Town.
Yeah. Well, Scraggy needs a new horse. Looks like we've got one.
Okay, perfect. So we've talked about this. Okay, so where do you guys want to go first? Because there's Gravelords information, there's Age of Sigmar 3, or there's the FAQ. Which do you want to go first? Dan, I'm going to let you vote on.
Oh, let's get let's get the FAQ out of the way first, because I think like
out of the way. I think it's brilliant. Like, absolutely. Hold on, quick word from Jez on how good do we think it.
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really
It's gonna be fine. Right, okay, let's go to it.
Oh gosh.
Oh God! I want them to do more interviews so I can just clip them. It's going to be so good. Right. Anyway, hold on. The FAQ. Right. Rumineth Realmlords Battle Tome. The errata has come out today. Let's go. We'll get the watertight emote. Don't worry. So. We've been looking for some FAQ stuff. Severith, the Lord of the Seventh Wind, I'll jump straight into this, I don't know if you guys have seen it, changed the second paragraph of the rules text to, in addition, if enemy models start a pilot move within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability, subtract 2 inches from the distance of that model during that phase from one. Oh, I don't think he had that on his thing. The important one, though, is Severith, Lord of the Seventh Wind. They've taken him out of Ymetrica. He's been... I don't know what the right word is. Excommunicated. That's not the right word. Deported.
Banished.
He's been banished and deported. He's been Brexited from Ymetrica. That's a lot to take in there. Fox communicated. Thank you, Owen. That's a good one. Exiled also. Nathan, how do you feel about him losing the Ymetrica keyword? You love keyword bingo. Come on.
Sure. Where's he gone?
Fucking... Hold on, let me check. It doesn't say where he's.
So he can go with any nation now.
He can go with any nation. He is
He's a nation slut. Good for him. Have a good time.
He is a nation slut. James, how do you feel about this?
I mean, it means we might see more Severiths.
It is. He can now be in Helon. Thank you. He's a free citizen. Oh, as Didrin has said, he's free as the wind. I like the wind in my trees. By Patrick Swayze, by the way. Great song from Dirty Dancing, I think. Is that from Dirty Dancing? Yeah, Patrick Swayze. What a banger. Right, okay. Pretty big, because then he can have all of the... Captain Bastardo, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate your name. Definitely going to fit in here. He's going to be able to get all of the... He's going to be able to get all the buffs, because he's now not keyworded into Ymetrica, which is pretty cool. And he can go to Helon and he can do the other stuff. So a straight buffs for Severith. And is it the first time, Nathan? I know you've been consistently sending emails every day about the Gits keywords. Haven't had much feedback. How do you feel about him losing a keyword? Like compared to your Gits, you maybe needed some keywords looking around at one point.
Yeah, I mean. That's very unfortunate for him, because I'm sure he wants more keywords, not less keywords, but there you go, eh? It's a tough old world we live in. Realm, whatever the hell it is.
Lord Whale, thank you for subscribing.
Stupid fox.
I think the important point here is that he can obviously go in Sire, so he can have 2 lots of Aether Quartz, which is muchos good.
That one kind of like sparks out to me, because it's not like they took, like the big mountain cow, the named mountain cow. They were like, yeah, this is where he lives. This is who he fights for. And almost in most other ones, that's kind of like most other armies, that's the case.
Fox is faster though.
Yeah, but then they're just like, hey, the fox, this is his thing. And then they went, you know what? Actually, let's just let him have it all. But at the same time, they've taken like Alania and Elithor and done a similar thing. They took Ymetrica off them and that gave them Iliathar, or whatever the hell it's pronounced, right?
Where does the fox dude live?
The fox dude, he lives wherever he wants now.
In the wind.
But where does the story says he lives? Where's
in the wind?
Where's his foxhole?
He lives on an elderly lady's shoulders while being screamed for his murder at. That's where he lives between the holidays, which is when he's fighting. But yeah, it just seems ridiculous that they did that to Severith, when for the twins, who, like, their story is that they go out into the world. They're like going and doing shit everywhere. They still are locked to one faction. I don't know if I'm being an idiot in thinking that, but I'm like, so the guys that explore the realms have one army that they love, but the dude who literally lives in a mountain, they're like, yeah, nah, he does what he likes.
Well, he specifically has a wind temple, according to Call Me Feet in the chat, that is in Metrica. But I guess it's like the people who own like all of the newspapers in England. Like, while technically, yes, they do business in England, they all live technically offshore, in quotation marks.
He's a tax evader, is he?
Maybe Metrica's just got like a really high tax bracket, and he's like, I just want to live somewhere else.
Yeah, that checks out. He's a bit like Google or Apple, where they're like, oh yeah, actually our base of operations is in this small Irish village because we get huge tax breaks, and there's just one little room with a dude in there who's like, I am paid to sit here and let them evade tax. That's him. He's got one priest somewhere in Metrica to help him evade tax.
Well, I think the Thorbinus in the chat has made a point. I guess really it's probably just his holiday home that's actually in Metrica. That's the situation that we're not clicking in with there. Severith gained the Channel Islands keyword. Severith gained the Panama keyword. Can I just thank Rule of Cool Wargaming for subscribing for the first time? That's super cool of you. And also to Fauxpas Fox for subscribing as well. Very much appreciated. Okay, so I mean that's fine. So Severith being in other armies is fine. The other stuff though, oh boy, is pretty exciting. They've clarified that if you do take a Venari unit that's in Shining Company and you reset it up, so as long as it's still in the requirements of Shining Company, it's still in Shining Company. So you could use Bridge or a Teleport to take a unit and reset it up so it's in Shining Company. That's fine. Yes, that's good. The next one is a really fun one. Can I use the Spirit of the Wind ability in my opponent's shooting phase? James, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Do you happen to know what the Spirit of the Wind ability might do?
Is that the one that stops people piling in?
Close. Super close. It's the one that in the shooting phase you can make a movement. And don't forget, they move very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I use that?
So, yeah, can you... Well, number one, you can obviously use it in your shooting phase. The real question is, Nathan, let's see how you feel about it. Do you think you should be able to use it in your opponent's shooting phase?
I don't think so. So I guess they let him do it.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So what's going to happen is you're going to move towards this model, and then it's going to move outside of your charge range in the shooting phase. So you can never attack it in melee ever.
That's good though, right?
And for those who are
Lumineth player,
those who are thinking you could pin it, the exact rule is at the end of the shooting phase, this model can make a normal move of 12 inches but cannot run. It can retreat. This model can retreat and still charge later in the same turn. So literally, you might be able to get a shot off at it, but it's going to be outside of charge range. Unless you were already in combat with it, in which case you need a 12.
It's so good. Listen, I might overdo this, but let's just get a quick check on what Jez might think.
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything... Watertight.
I mean, look, so a model you can never charge.
But he's not wrong. That rule is now watertight. What is it? I have this ability.
It's a clearly answered question. It's a clearly answered question. So
unfortunately, the thing is, what you have that's watertight is a septic tank full of like curry night broth, and that's what is kept in the watertight container. Unfortunately,
ultimately, whatever at this stage, because I think it's brilliant. I actually want him to move in every phase. That's right. Every phase. One phase, my phase, because he moves in the movement phase, right? He moves in the shooting phase of both players now, and also piles in 6 inches also. Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay.
He's fucking mental.
Yeah. Yes. Thankfully, he's a bit crap. Right.
So both of them can do that. The Severus and the
All of them.
regular fox. Yeah.
All of them.
Fucking hell.
It's kind of like Wholly Within to Sneaky Snuffle. Basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that very muchly.
Yeah, good. Right, okay. Next, so cool. Does the Hurricane Temple ability Whirling Tornadoes allow units in the battalion to count as having charged in the enemy turn? Okay. So just to clarify for you guys on what that is, again, the War Scroll Battalion allows you to pile in an extra 6 inches if you've charged that turn. That's what it does, yeah? Lets you pile an extra 6 inches if you've charged that turn. And then,
so if it's near a dude, then it counts as having charged.
Does the Hurricane Temple ability Whirling Tornadoes allow units in the battalion to count as having charged
the battalion, yeah.
in the enemy turn? So not in your turn, but in the enemy turn. So, James, just get quick clarity. You and me are playing. I've got some root charges, yeah? In your turn, yeah?
Yeah, my turn.
Right? In your turn, I am going to... Well, the answer to this is yes. I can move my Roo Riders 6 inches away anywhere on the board, even if you're not within 3 inches, at any point. So basically, my wind charges from that battalion move 6 inches every turn, whenever I like. In the charge phase. Combat phase. Yeah, combat phase.
It's a good thing they're getting rid of battalions.
Oh my god, it's
soon.
So good.
So good. Fucking hell.
So good. Yeah, so that's good. And then, can a unit from the Hurricane Temple Battalion use the Whirling Tornadoes ability, make a pile-in move, even if that unit is not within 3 inches of enemy units? And the answer is yes. Yes, it can. And can I use the Great Nation of Illuminize Claim the Field ability to move a Scenario Lore Seeker that's been set up as a Lone Agent Reserve unit? No. That's great. That's fine. Can a caster of the Sanctum of Amniotok move while the Endless Spell is on the battlefield? Answer yes. Answer yes. Dan, you feel positive about that?
Honestly, it's not a very good spell. So, or comparatively, I just don't like things that lock stuff down. It should be a fluid game. Unless it's a really powerful spell, nothing should stop anyone moving.
Oh, is that why you're pro everything that's happening with the Roos? They move in your phase.
I've almost hit so many Roos because I used to have to drive through the middle of Australia several times a year. And I have seen the way that Roos run towards car headlights at dawn and dusk because they're, I don't know, bastards. I've seen the way they move. Just saying the rules check out. Like a kangaroo will be going in one direction, then he's going the other direction. He just does whatever he wants. Roos do what they want. I actually think that this is just reflecting the fact that the riders have no control over their mounts. And they're just yeah, woo, hey, you guys feel like vomiting? Okay, let's go backwards.
Okay, good. All right. Right, so then, next one. Many of the Lumineth Realmlords command abilities do not require benefiting units to be within distance of a friendly hero. When this is the case, what units in my army can use the command abilities? You can pick any applicable friendly unit on the battlefield to use the command ability, but the unit you pick to use the command ability must be the unit that benefits from it. Okay? Happy with that?
What?
So clear.
This is just a nod to AoS3. I think from from who can do it. I think that's effectively they're cleaning it up a little bit. Next up, the Venari Blade Lords are armed with Sun Metal Great Blades, but do not have Sun Metal Weapons ability. Is this intentional? Yes, it was omitted deliberately. Thank you for Bobbin for donating £6.69 to the show. It's very much appreciated. Loads and loads. Do you see that? They intentionally omitted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they intentionally omitted the grot keyword from Fanatics.
No, I'm not doing the clip again. Yes, it was deliberately omitted.
I dig that means they're like, who should get these mighty weapons, the best that we have in the Sun Metal, and like, give it to the rank and file. And the Blade Lords were like, we are the most experienced, we guard our charges in close proximity to the enemy. I believe we should probably have the best weapons. And they were like, no. Like, but I'm better with a sword. Perhaps you could give me a sharper one. Nah, we're going to give it to Blake and all of his mates over there. That group of blokes, they're getting the best ones. And they're like, okay. What about those lanterns that stop people hitting you? Maybe we should have one of those. Nah, give it to the big bow. Put it on the big bow. Let's do that and go. And they're like, we really need to get a better like operations manager just distributing our weapons here.
Yeah. Those elf generals suck.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, like it could be like a naming issue. Leadfooter says it's because they're not wizards, so they can't turn them on. I guess that's a bit of a I guess it's like, you know, you got to get your OSHA card, so you can't like flip the switch on the digger, like unless you've like passed your CBT training or whatever. I've just thrown a load of words together. I don't really understand if that
CBT.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I know what CBT is. Cock and ball torture.
Why would you want it to be tortured, man? Like,
I don't know. Nothing to do with... I don't fucking know why. They're elves, aren't they? Fuck them.
Okay. Fine. Right. Next question. Can models move on a Shrine Luminor? Oh, drama. And can they move through the gap underneath the Shrine Luminor where the terrain feature is not touching the battlefield? Have you read this? Who's read this? If you haven't read it, it's fine. Nathan,
I have it open. But
it's okay. You don't have to. Don't read it. Don't read it. I want you to guess. Okay. What do you think?
So what? Are you allowed to walk where there's an open piece of ground? Is that what they're asking?
Yes. Yeah. Can you walk where there is ground, and can you walk where there is mainly mountain?
Yeah. Just walk uphill if you need to, or walk through the gap, or whatever. Who asked the question?
I don't think anyone asks any of these. Like, does anyone think anyone's asked any of these questions ever? Like, do we think that's the process? Sorry, I'm very confused. I think us three have got the wrong end of a stick for a long time. James,
where did the questions come from?
Yeah, were you under the impression these
from
questions
that bloke that you had on the telly just now?
This guy. Let's go see.
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything we hope is completely
okay. He doesn't seem to. He did. Go on.
I'm still stuck on the sun metal weapon thing because it's genuinely upsetting me.
Why don't you get, man?
Well, no,
it's a sun metal weapon that's not a sun metal weapon. It's clear as crystal, unambiguous.
The chat has pointed out wonderfully they can't turn them on because they're not wizards. So why did you give them sun metal weapons? Why were you like, hey guys, here, take this, the most powerful magical artifact in our army? They're like, we're not wizards. They're like, fuck.
We've made the swords now.
Well, do we have just a stick or something? Like, I mean, it's going to be about as useless as tits on a bull with these guys. And they're like, should we maybe give it to literally anyone who's a wizard? Literally anyone else. And they were like, no, we'll keep these. I mean, a regular sword is just the same for us, but give us this ancient metal forged in the fires of the sun. Fuck.
Okay.
That's really upset me.
Right. So the answer to this is, can you move on it, and does it give fanatics the grok keyword? Answer: only garrisoning models can be placed or moved onto a Shrine Luminor, like all garrison rules. If there are no models in a Shrine Luminor's garrison, other models can move through the terrain feature's gap as normal, if possible. I want to read this in such a sultry way. Let me start again. Sorry. If there are no models in a Shrine Luminor's garrison, other models can move through the terrain feature's gap as normal, if possible. I can't do it. However, if the Shrine Luminor is garrisoned, the entire terrain feature is treated as an enemy model to your opponent.
Uh,
There we go. There we go. So, like all garrison rules.
Yeah, so it's just like garrison rules. Fair enough. So it's
So
a
did
garrison.
did they re-explain the garrison rules to someone?
Somebody asked.
Is this like a garrison? And then they went,
Yeah.
yes, this is like a garrison,
This-
as the keyword says.
Yeah, it says it's a garrison. It's a garrison.
Okay, I'm going to, in the future, say, does this unit move? I might, like, things I don't like the rules of. I'm like, is this movement 5 only? Question mark. Because I'd like it to be faster. Like, is this Tree Lord Ancient only a 1-cast wizard? Because did you omit the other spells on purpose? Because that would help me.
Well, I think the answer would just be be impressed that a tree is casting any spells, because the ones near my house just make people sneeze in spring. So, like, the fact that it can walk around, hit people with a stick, and cast one spell, consider yourself lucky, Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So, okay, so we got the garrison rule explained to us. And then finally, the Scenario Lore Seeker is noted as unique in the pitch battle profiles table. Is it intended that he is a named character for the rules purposes and therefore cannot have a command trait or an artifact? Answer, yes. So he is like a named character, yet not one.
Good.
So-
I'm down with it.
Mhm,
It's kind of like Celestant Prime and stuff like that. Like, kind of he has a name, but he doesn't really. Anyway, whatever.
But nobody knows what it is.
Yeah. He keeps his license like in his back
name's
pocket at all
Carl.
times.
He's
name's
incognito.
Carl. They're like, quickly send Carl, and he's just like, yeah, boss. But I don't want to be that guy. It took me roughly 80 years to make my way up to the level of Lore Seeker. So you could call me Lore Seeker Carl or just Lore Seeker, but it's a bit offensive when you just call me Carl because I feel like you're just ignoring like
Mr. Seeker.
my industry. Yeah, Mr. Seeker.
Mr. Seeker, first name Law.
He's that guy. But to be fair, if I was ever knighted, I would insist that everyone called me sir. I'd be like, what? It's sir. So I get it. He doesn't like to go by Carl anymore. He likes you to know his rank.
Yeah, I don't want to get like too like what's that film? Really not together today because I haven't slept for 37 years. But that Inception. I don't want to get too Inception-y. But as some Norwegian dude has said in the chat, big love to you. There are many lore seekers like in the lore. So if we seek in the lore of the Lumineth Realmlords about lore seekers, there are many lore seekers in the lore.
Mm.
Yet
but-
only one named unique one.
Yeah, but they're so rare. There's only one around each day.
Maybe that's the law he's seeking.
How
His
many
name.
times in the lore is there more than one lore seeker in the lore?
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's also remember that you get it like so if an enemy with an artifact is killed within 3 inches, you get a command point with the Lore Seeker. So he clearly is aware of them, but he is a lone agent. You know, he goes off and does his own thing. I have a feeling that he's probably pissed off their quartermaster a few times. They're like, here you are. This is a very special sword, very, very powerful. I get it. It's a boomerang though. What does a boomerang do? And he's like, it comes back. He's like, yeah, it comes back. And then the Lore Seeker like fucks off for 10 years and comes back. And he's like, sorry, lost the sword. I don't know if it's so much that the Lore Seeker like can't have one. I just think they don't give it to him anymore because he's proven himself untrustworthy.
There's some great comments being left in the chat. I mean, like, you know, my name's not Mr. Lore Seeker. That's my dad. Is a good one. If a Lore Seeker seeks a lore, how many Lore Seekers can a Lore Seeker seek? Great question. Why am I named is the lore he seeks. There's loads of Lore Seekers, but it's only this specific one that likes fighting. It's the Lore Seeker is just looking for more Lore Seekers, hence he's a Lore Seeker. All of that works. All of it's gold. And appreciate you. And that's the end of the FAQ. So some kind of like big takeaways there. They didn't answer a couple of questions about Arulian wizards and some other stuff. That was kind of Oral and Wisdom, sorry, and some other stuff that was kind of important. Venaria, so so there's a bit of drama there, but ultimately sounds like some general buffs other than people who are planning on taking multiple Lore Seekers and trying to cap objectives with them, because like that obviously was never going to work. So that Battalion is very good until you can't use it, so that's fine, because they're going to get rid of that, so that's good. And then what's the other one? Yeah, of course, you can never kick the fuck out of a kangaroo, fox wizard, which is fascinating.
A kangaroo fox.
Yeah,
I think actually you've made that negative. What we should say is, are they the quickest in the Mortal Realms? Answer is yes. They move before you even see them move.
Yeah.
My turn. Normally nothing else moves. Oh, they're moving. Yeah. They got the zoomies. All of them have got the zoomies. That should have been a question. Do all Lumineth Realmlord animals have the zoomies? And the answer should have been no, all of them but the mountain cows. If you brought those when they first came out, you made a boo-boo.
Someone's saying that they haven't actually answered half of the questions they did ask, but I'd like to refer them to the Venari Blade Lords Q&A very quickly again. The Venari Blade Lords are armed with some metal great blades, but do not have some metal weapons ability. Is this intentional? Yes, it was omitted deliberately. I'm going to screen cap that for future use also on the show. Yes, it was omitted deliberately, so I assume that that's why they haven't answered those other questions as well. But it's nice to have some clarity.
As in those other questions were omitted deliberately. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
well,
likely, yeah.
Just checking.
Otherwise they would have done them, right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And the other guy who asks... Go on, Dan.
Now we have confirmation that Severeth is the crack fox. Like he genuinely has to be, because he's just like tweaking out, and then someone's about to charge him. He's like, no, and just like runs away. And he's like, I gotta piss on this. Have you got some meth? Like he's just that Severeth everywhere. He's bouncing around looking for deals.
Can I just thank some new subscribers that we got, because it's super cool to have some new ones. Stoner Sparrow, appreciate you for subscribing, and also
name.
Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to T's and C's. I'm not even sure I can say the first word in that. But for Mr. Broxer, thanks for using your Twitch Prime. I'm not even certain I'm allowed to use it, because it's I think it's banned on Twitch. But appreciate you for subscribing. That's very much appreciated. Okay, so overall, let's get an out of 10 Twitch chat and also co-hosts for this FAQ. How do you think they did? Dan, I'm going to jump over to you. Out of 10.
I am going to go with out of 10, I'm going to go with a semi-watertight barrel. I'm going to go with, so it's about, which I think is about an 8. Like it'll hold a more viscous liquid, like maybe curry diarrhea or something. It's struggling to hold water though, so it's not quite watertight. So I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 watertights. Okay,
all right. What about you, James?
I was just going to give it a 7. There wasn't as much description. A 7, because I think Severeth either is happy about the fact he's been roaming the realms, or he's sad because he's been exiled, and the fact that I don't have that narrative reduces the score, because I'm worried about him.
That's what they've given you. They've given you a vehicle to tell the story now. Why is Severeth not got the Eumetric keyword? We don't know. We could tell that story. Maybe he's fallen in love with Kragnos. Maybe we don't know that. Like, he's like, kind of like a foxy fella. Like, he's gone over and he's like, I'm leaving Eumetric for you. Yeah,
I like that he's a tax dodger. I think he's a tax evader. That's the story now. He is every time they come calling and they like knock on the temple door, they're like, oh no, he doesn't live here anymore. He hasn't been here for like 2 years. And then as soon as they go away, he's like, have they gone? He's a tax evader.
Okay, well, that's a good one. Let me just read out what everyone in the chat says while Nathan thinks about it. Collery thinks it's a nation slot out of 10. Martin Orlando AOS gives it a 7 out of 10. Chucklebutt would be furious with you about that. Rima Nightspear says Blade Lords should have just had a name change, and then they should have yeeted the whole thing into the bin, in my opinion. I really like what Grimgar said. He said, I deliberately omit my response. Thanks to Guy Zaidi for donating £3.69 to the show. That's super appreciated. And Big Round Specs, I think, kind of sums up my thoughts. 4 out of 10 FAQ value. Previously, listen, 2020, 2019, Rob, if you'd have described a unit that literally can't be touched in melee, he'd have been like, Do you know what? That kind of makes me a bit mad. Yeah? But 10 out of 10 Twitch value. Like, absolutely 11 out of 10 explaining that to someone. So yeah, it's what did someone say earlier? Your shooting face? No, our shooting face, comrade. Love that.
You missed my favourite one. So Shugo put 10 because I'm currently building wind stuff.
That's always the answer.
Warhammer done right.
Yeah.
Is this FAQ, Ben? No, because I've just brought it. It's definitely fine. I brought those toys. It's fine. Don't mess with it. I brought it.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Warhammer.
Yeah,
it's just really hard to put them together while you're still wearing your like furry fox outfit. They don't quite have the dexterity, but it's you know, it's good.
Nathan, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about untouchable models in the charge phase?
Oh, that's kind of awkward, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, like ball and dick torture or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, cock and ball torture. I think it's a good thing they're making the board smaller.
Even if it was only like a 6-inch move, then if you were like a 3-inch charge away, you'd still have a chance. If you're 3 inches away and it moves 12, you need to roll a 15 to get it in the charge.
No, you can't, because you have to be within 12 to make a charge or declare a charge.
Unless you're one of those little wankers that gets like a 3d6 and so can charge from 18 inches away. But like there's 2 units and a one-legged duck that get to do that.
Yeah. But hopefully in Age of Sigmar 3, everyone just gets a 3d6 charge. Think about that. How will you feel now? Because that would really cut down on the game time, which is important.
Maybe they're going to swap the shooting phase and the movement phase around.
There you go. Think about that.
Then he moves and then you can move after him and catch him. Fuck knows.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put the shooting phase after the combat phase.
Maybe even after the battle shock phase.
Yeah.
Maybe
there's not going to be a shooting phase.
It's just reverse it all. So you go score, no, fight, no, shoot, maybe, move, hero phase, and then you'll be like, oh, this is so much faster.
Especially when you miss the battle shock phase.
Oh, and then at the end of the movement phase, you'll charge. That's just like been removed from order and put last. So like at the end, you're like, right, I've charged you, and then you're like, wait, now they fight me first.
Yeah,
really confusing.
It's very confusing. Listen, an absolutely brilliant FAQ. I'm giving that 11 out of 10 because the meme value is huge. We've already got Mr. Lawseeker as a meme now, and whatever the hell the wind dudes are. Listen, if someone does the wind dude thing to you, just like, I mean, thankfully they're kind of rubbish. The wind charger dudes, aren't they? Like, not the wind chargers, the fox guys. They're like fine. They're fine.
They're better with that. Like they're a bit more usable with that. But they're
what do you mean immortal?
That goes.
Immortal
soon, right?
is good. Huh?
Doesn't that go when the battalion goes?
No, not the fox arrow things. Nope.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good start. Good start to the show. Pretty strong. I mean, I'm sure people could take it quite seriously, but
yeah, I think if you got sentinels, those fox things are fine.
Yeah,
just
agreed.
Them, yeah.
Or ballistas.
Yeah.
Or other foxes.
Yeah.
If
they move, then you move. Then they move, and then you move again. And then...
It's like a knife fight. It's just like stab it out.
Oh, it's dancing then. Why'd you stop?
Well, it's just I was just enjoying it. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't think they're that good anyway, but I'm sure like someone will complain, and probably you should, because I don't like that that's something they're fine with. I don't want the next battle tome where they put that on a unit that isn't medium. I don't want that to be a thing, is what I'm really trying to get at. I don't want them to be like, cool, yeah, that's in the game now, because that'll suck quite a bit.
I kind of like the idea, or I really enjoy when people have play across turns, like something that they do in your opponent's turn. I genuinely think it makes it really interesting. I remember the first time an Ironjawz player, actually, I think it was Vanilla Sass in the chat, pulled it on me when his orcs got to move in my turn or charge in my turn, whatever it was. And it's not like he smashed me, but it was a really good tactical move. And it was just so well done. And I was like, this is actually really exciting because like there's counterplay across turns. That's interesting. When it's like, oh yeah, I just get to move an extra 12. Why? Because
Well,
like,
do you know what? Townie Smash has probably nailed it. Something we're not thinking about for Age of Sigmar 3 as well. Gets around the double turn, though, doesn't it? Just go every turn.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
You can't be double turn if you're playing every turn.
Fucking smashed it. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. All right, so that's FAQ. And like Tony says in the chat, let's move on. Let's talk about Gravelords, who have 0 ranged options in their army. So they don't have a... They don't need it.
They don't need it, because when you're dead, how do you pull the bowstring back? It's really hard work. You've got no muscle mass left. Skeletons haven't got any muscle. Can't do it.
Great way of stopping that fox moving. I don't have a shooting phase. You can't move. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm just skipping the shooting phase.
Just skip it.
Exist.
Just skip it. Be like, I elect not to have a shooting phase and then move on. Is it in the core rules? Ladies and gentlemen, we might have found a hack. This is important. Do we have to do every one of the phases in our turn? Let's hack that up. What? Ask Jez. Jez, does that cleared up in the Age of Sigmar 3 rule?
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything we...
Okay. He said it's completely watertight. That's
good.
Watertight. It's watertight. Right, okay. So, all of the vampiric bloodlines are noble, but only one has wolf paws. This is what we're going for. This is the best running gag ever on day one. Right, okay. So, we're going to look at these. What do all vampires have in common? So, the things that we've heard are... Do skeletons have teeth?
But they're not vampires, are they?
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, how? Okay, my
Was it
question
right?
is,
Did they just ruin the whole article? Next one, let's go.
a skeleton can't be a vampire because they can't drink. Like no tongue, no
But they're not vampires. They're death rattle.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like they can't be. You can't have a skeleton vampire. Just biologically, it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, you could have the skeleton of a vampire, but not...
Yeah, so Nagash isn't a vampire, is he?
I thought vampires turned into dust.
What?
There's no skeleton after they're dead.
Only on Tuesdays, Nathan.
No.
Glitter.
It's a Monday
Glitter.
show.
They're really bad for the environment. Like you kill them and they just go poof, and then you're like, oh, it's gonna be all over me for weeks now. I'm gonna be finding this forever. It's their final act is to just make you hate your life because you're at home being like, how is there still dead vampire on me?
Yeah, but that's more like Zoomer vampire. Oh, no, I think that's millennial vampires, isn't it? Nathan, it depends which generation you are. Zoomer vampires, I think they just... I don't even know what Zoomer vampires do. They just wear jogging bottoms and insult us for using emojis, I think is the general consensus at the moment. But that's more...
I like that we've now got rave vampires and Zoomer vampires as well. And boomer vampires who just bought up all of the properties in the area and ruined the market. They're the most insidious kind because they were like, I will drain you dry. And you're like, of blood? And they're like, no, of options.
Right. Barry Gallister, I'm pretty sure Rob knows quite a bit about Zoomer glitter vamps. That's rude. Right. So right. If there's one thing you really ought to know about these vampires is that they're pretty much all exceptionally strong wizards. Okay. Let's just serious for a moment. Just fucking rein it in, boys. Right. This is new Legions of Nagash. So Legions of Nagash is being discontinued. We saw a Warhammer community social media guy respond today. Legion of Nagash is being discontinued, and the Gravelords is the new Legions of Nagash battle tone, basically. So it's got some new vamps in, but Nagash is in it, Arcan's in it, all those other ones are in it. Probably no ghosts, but it's basically new Legions of Nagash, right? So all that stuff. I don't know if they're going to put I know Corpse Cart is in it, but I'm really hoping they put two of the coolest models in, the Coven Throne and... What's the other one? What's the other one it built?
The Coven Throne and the, I don't know, whatever-y thingy.
Bitch boat.
No.
No.
Mortis Engine, thank you.
Mortis Engine.
Mortis Engine. I don't know if they're in it yet, but I hope that there would be. So yeah, Mortis Engine. I'm hoping it's that. So, like, basically all the non-OC arcs and Nighthaunt stuff should be in this battle tome, along with some new vampires, basically, until Gravelords Book 2 in 6 to 18 months. I have a £5 bet on it being before 18 months.
Which will just be the OBR and Nighthaunt models that already exist added in with 2 new heroes.
We can dare to dream, James. We can dare to dream.
And then the next month, there'll be 2 giant hero models that everyone wants. So, like, Nagash 2 and 3.
Nagash 2 and 3.
Nagash 2.
Yeah.
They don't even give him a name though. Like it's not like Marathi the Oracle and Marathi the Avatar or whatever the hell they call her. It'll be like Nagash 2. And they're like, what is he? He's
separate models. Separate models. So Nagash gets the book and another book and spawns himself. So you get Nagash 1, 2, and 3. And if you take them all, it's 1,800 points of your army. So you get enough for 20 zombies. 3 Nagash.
3
Nagash. It's going to be the first battalion back. I'm telling you right now.
The Trigash. Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Trigash.
Right, let me read this. Most of the vampires' dynasties can ultimately trace their lineage back to Nagash. So naturally, or Nagash 1, sorry. So naturally, or is that unnaturally, their focus is on the dark art of necromancy. When you're an immortal being suffused with the potent death magic, learning to summon the dead is an appropriate hobby to take up, especially if you want to grow your undead horde. Soulblight Gravelords earn their name by raising massive armies of the dead to fight alongside them. Okay, that's fine. Right, so they've got the Endless Legion rules. Across the realms, charnel pits and mass graves blight the land. The Gravelords wield the corpses within as a weapon, returning them to unlife to serve their will. I'm quite proud of that. At the end of your Battle Shock phase, which we don't know if that is now the first or the last thing that happens in a turn, because James has really fucked it up for us.
Sorry.
But at the end of your Battle Shock phase, count the number of enemy units that were destroyed during that turn, and roll a die. So number of enemy units that were destroyed. Adding the number of destroyed enemy units to the roll. Oh, oof. So this is the first time we're reading the Gravelord stuff, boys and girls. This is exciting. This is exciting because this is where we really get to look at the language used and work out if it's the bin or the sin guy. I'd like you to know adding the number of destroyed enemy units to the roll is a very bin sort of... I've already read a lot without really understanding what the fuck I need to do, so...
Yeah, I was like, I am several sentences in and I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
You basically do the corn thing where you add up how many blood ties you get, then you roll a dice, and if it's a 5+, this happens.
Yeah, on a 5+, you can pick one friendly Soulblight Gravelords summonable Deadwalkers unit or Soulblight Gravelords summonable Death Rattle unit in your army that has been destroyed. If you do so, a new replacement unit with half the number of models in that unit that was destroyed, rounding up, is added to your army. Set up that unit wholly within 12 inches of the Gravesite and more than 9 inches from all enemy models. So it still revolves around using Gravesites. Obviously, you're going to want to max a unit out here. So you want to upgrade a unit from 20 to maybe 60 models to get the most value out of that, which could be a little bit problematic if you can't upgrade all of those units. On a 5+, you can pick one friendly Soulblight that were destroyed during that turn roll dice, adding the number destroyed enemy units to the roll. So no, it's not just a 5+. So at the end of Battle Shock phase, count the number of enemy units.
Yeah.
So it's everything that's dead on the battlefield, right? Because it's not just is it every enemy? Oh, it's only
units. Yeah, only
it's
enemy units. So you got to hope that you're fighting against 10 Gobblepaloozas. Because you probably kill 3 or 15 dudes or something.
You want to fight MSU, don't you?
Yeah. Kill those, but then you've got to have lost one of your units for you to want to use this anyway.
End of the Battle Shock phase, count the number of enemy units that were destroyed during that turn and roll a dice. Adding the number of destroyed enemy units to the roll. On a 5+, you can pick one friendly Soulblight that was destroyed. So you already have to have lost a unit.
Yeah.
And you
then,
need to have killed opponent units.
Then I need to kill some opponent units, and then it could be on a 2-up.
You got to kill a lot, though.
Yeah.
It depends how punchy the book is, right? If the book's super punchy and it punches through things super fast, you're never going to need this because you're probably not going to lose a unit.
Okay.
If the book's not punchy, it's probably not going to kill things fast enough.
Does it say they're summoned
make
by
it better than a
Gravesite?
5-up.
So.
In the interest of being watertight, can I please
It makes sense.
It does, but let me rephrase this really simply in a way that wouldn't have had 4, admittedly not the brightest human beings on the planet, but we are pretty, so that's okay. It took the 4 of us a little while to actually put this together. Instead of going like, at the end of the battle shock phase, count the number of units, do this, blah, blah, roll the dice, then that happens. You just go, at the end of the battle shock phase, roll a dice. On a 5+, you may return a unit to the battlefield. You may add 1 to the dice roll for each enemy unit destroyed in this player turn.
But
done.
It's quite a nice timing, right? It's at the end of the battle shock phase because
it's exactly like the Gits returning dudes to the battle.
I like
the mechanic is like what triggers it is different. So
I like the mechanic. I like the rule. I'm just saying, who the fuck wrote this? Because they made it more convoluted than it needed to be.
I think Jez has something to say on this, doesn't it?
They had a word count, and they were like, "I'm going to get to the word count, so help me God."
It doesn't happen on both turns. People are saying because it's at the end of your battle shock phase, so it's only going to happen in your turn every turn at the end of your battle shock phase.
But if I go first and I annihilate a unit, because zombies and skeletons are going to be summonable, right? So let's say you've got 8 zombies and I charge them and I kill them all. So you lose. I did. Well, yeah. Okay, 40.
Unit?
Yeah, 80. There was 2 and they merged together. Okay, you're going to have 80 zombies.
Okay.
So I kill all your zombies, all 80 of them. And then it's your turn. You get to play that whole turn, don't you? To basically set up to then at the end of the turn, hopefully roll a 5 up and get some back.
Okay. Yeah, number one, let's talk about this. It's free. So, the battle trait for the army is already free. So, basically, you can return some slain models for free. That's good. I'm just going to say that straight away that's good. Because if Gravesites work similar and, it's good. I think, actually, I think it's good. Right, So next up is the Deathless Minions rule. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or a mortal wound to a friendly Soulblight Gravelords unit holding within 12 inches of a friendly Gravelords hero or Gravesite on a 6+ mortal wound. So it's just what it ever was. 6 up DPR, army-wide if they're near a hero. The hero themselves obviously are going to have it. And of course, you're going to be able to use it on units and near the Gravesites, which is kind of nice as well.
Wholly Within, I like that too, rather than, no conga lines or anything like that. It's good.
Yeah. Exactly. Shelf Loathing makes a good point there. Basically, you ignore the whole thing. It's basically... what's up, James? You okay?
I just realised it says, notice I mentioned the Gravesites there at the beginning of battle. You get 2 Gravesites, not 4 or 6 or whatever it used to be.
Where does it say that?
4.
Underneath Deathless Minions.
Notice the mention of Gravesites there. At the beginning of battles, you can designate 2 spots on... Oh. Sugar. Sugar. That's half as good. But then Nathan only has 1 Loon Shrine.
That is true.
It might be half as good. However, as someone's pointed out, they never used to give you that DPR save. So you've got less, but they're more effective. I don't hate that. I used to find it really frustrating that it was like they had multiple Gravesites all over the board. This means you can't just throw them down and be like, sure, I got tons, I've got options. You actually have to think about it and be a bit tactical. Unlike Sylvaneth players that used to just cover the board in woods so that they didn't have to think tactically. And then you had one who'd show up with like 3 trees and was like, I don't need that many because I know where I'm going to put them. And that's all I need. I'd be like, this guy knows what he's about.
Thanks to Frog Lane Studio for raiding us with 9 people. Get in, lads. Who have a great raiding phrase, by the way, which is cry havoc, let slip the frogs of war. I'm super into that. That's great. Yeah. Does a Gravesite count
all over the place?
Chuckabutty, does a Gravesite count as faction terrain? I know a fox that might be able to cause some havoc with them. I don't think they do, which is and then Tristan says annoying as I made my own Gravesites and now I have 2 extra. I think that's super fair. Tony says it's fairer Deathless Minions but harder to get working. Okay, I agree with you. The Deathless Minions is a bit fairer. And you having to be wholly within 12 inches of a Gravelord's hero is actually pretty tough. For if that's their battle trait, if both of those 2 things, Endless Legions and Deathless Minions, are the only battle traits... Oh no, they've got Locust of Sheesh as well, so let's read this. As if all that magical might wasn't enough... Soulblight Wizards can double cast spells if luck is on the side. Oh, they've still got this. This is nice. So it's just Legions of Nagash. Like, we're just reading Legions of Nagash again. That's fun. I hope they don't have the command ability. Fucking let's go. Like, it'd be so good if they don't have the command ability. Can't wait to see Detroit try and play Warhammer with this. Alright, if the unmodified casting roll for a friendly Soulblight Gravelords wizard attempting to cast a spell from the Law of Death Mages or the Law of Vampires is a 9+. There's a Law of Vampires. Hype for that. That'll be cool. Like Resanguination or like I don't know what do you want for a spell law for vampires?
I want to suck your blood. That's what I want in there.
As one
Glitter
of
in the sun.
Nice. That's good.
I'm a bat now.
Yeah, just no. I'm Batman has to be one of them. He just goes like,
I am bat. Person.
Oh, has there always been? Hold on, has there always been a Law of Vampires? And I just got that super wrong. And there was Lord of Vampires in Legion of the Gash. Thanks very much. Never mind. Apologies. Okay. Was Amethyst in Pinions from Vampires? Nice. Okay. But basically, if you cast it on a 9, the spell is not unbound, and after the effects of that spell have been resolved, you can immediately resolve the effects of that spell. Well, hold on, for a second time. If you cast it on a 9 and it's not unbound, it basically goes off twice.
However, having a great time then.
You know what the difference here is, though, is that they've said 9+. It used to have to be a natural roll. Like, you had to roll a 9 or higher. Now Nagash is just like, I have 6 spells, but it's actually 12!
Unless he doesn't have any pluses to cast in the new rules.
Yeah, that's true. Or if there's some sort of problem, if maybe there's like miscasts or something are back. Who knows? That could be a thing.
Or they really cleverly in the core rules say anything that says it has to be on a dice roll of something plus.
Oh wait, no. So James, it says it says the unmodified at the start. I know it says 9+. Thanks everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
It does say unmodified.
It does. I read that and I was like,
calm down.
Yeah.
It's all calm down.
I'm gonna blame the frontal lobotomy. That's what did it.
I'm gonna blame Dan.
Okay, that's super fair.
Fair. No.
See, that's a really good. That's a really good. If that's their 3 battle traits, like they're not great, but they're kind of copy and pasted from the last one. So, and it was one of the most popular factions of all time. This is the point I want to make. Like, this is important. Legions of Nagash previously had no new models, yeah? But when it came out with the Soul Wars, well, it didn't come out, Nighthaunt came out. But it was an army that had a 12% representation in the meta, yeah? When we went to tournaments. Now, if they lose the command ability to return whole slain units back, and it's replaced with this other one that's not quite as good, I think you people are going to say to me that Rob people only took that army because they could return entire 300 to 400 point units every turn. And I'm going to say, how dare you, sir? Those people were narratively driven players who thought that that was a fun rule that was great to play with. That's what I'll say. And I don't want to hear your shit, is what I'm going to say. Dan?
I think they're just going to be excited to be bringing units back. It wasn't that it was guaranteed or really broken or highly competitive. It was just that they really liked seeing things come back from the dead. I agree with you. They're still going to show up. They didn't sell those armies. They're not suddenly putting all those armies up on eBay or on the buy, swap, sell sites. In fact, if anyone does see an army put up on eBay or buy, swap, sell, just comment on it, Narrative Gamer.
Yeah.
Just really hard.
Right. They got some really nice new artwork, though.
Amazing artwork. Arc's always great in this game, isn't it? All in all, the Soulblight Gravelords make up a resilient army that will frustrate your opponent. Let's find out how the various legions and dynasties mixed up the formula. Okay.
Is that I feel like when you're trying to sell a game, being like, want to piss off your friends? This is the army for you. Probably not a great tagline.
It's not a great pitch, is it? Like,
hate your friends. By the Gravelords.
Right, so Legion of Night. Okay, so last time it didn't really feel like there was much flavour other than like the different like Morgas? No, that's not the right word. Sorry,
Mortarks.
Thank you. The Mortarks. The different Mortarks, they were responsible for their different legions. So hopefully we add a lot of flavour to these. I think it would be really fun to see these spread out over time. So the Legion of Night, or the Trap Layers, Manfred von Karstein's endless pursuit of power has made his vampiric vassals ambitious and arrogant. The Legion of Night prefer to use hordes of the undead to slow the enemy down and act as bait, while powerful vampires sweep in to claim glory once they sense an easy kill. They're the sneakiest of the 5 bloodlines. Manfred and his dread abyssal Ashigaroth even have a nasty habit of leaping out of combat only to reappear somewhere else entirely. Oh! So any fans of original Grand Alliance Death will know of a cool artifact called the Cloak of Mist and Shadows.
Hated that artifact.
It's a great artifact. And so
Awful
it
artifact.
seems like that might be an ability that is core put on onto that fella. Nathan, do you remember what it does?
At the start of the combat phase, you can teleport somewhere, like 12 inches away or something.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
I think there was a constriction on the teleport, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, you can bounce around.
Yeah, so basically if you charge him, he'll just run away, basically, I think will be the so Cloak of Mist and Shadows on him, which I think was good. It was used at the weekend in Australia by our man Sam Morgan. And I think there was also another Mixed Death army there as well. Thanks to Leadfoot for resubscribing, and thanks for everyone for tuning in and subscribing to the show.
I also just wanted to throw a shout out to Leadfoot for being concerned about the state of my frontal lobe, but not letting it get in the way of taking a quick shot at me, because that's exactly what the best people do. Is they're like, is he down? We should check that he's okay, but also just put the boot in a little bit as well, just to make sure that he's still alive. That's how you check for life. You just kick. So love you, Leadfoot. Thank you very much.
Can we go back for a moment and just be like super hype about the artwork on this article, though?
Yeah.
I'm literally staring at Neferata and just wondering if she's on Hinge.
All the new like 3.0 artwork seems like baller. All of it.
So good, man. So good. Like the front art, when we get to talking about Age of Sigmar 3 in a minute, like this artwork is just...
I feel like there's been
didn't I used to date
art
that girl?
change.
Huh? So, God, James, what are you saying?
I said I feel like there's been a change in like art direction, because recently we've had loads of stuff that was like more computer based, and now it's all back to sketchy, right?
Yeah, John was talking about it. He said that he thinks a
Yeah.
lot of it might have even been done by hand, with I don't know what he would. John probably come on the show and talk better as an artist. But yeah, no, I agree. I think it looks phenomenal. Like time and time again, I think the art in Warhammer really pushes it. I think that's what like is super evocative in sometimes for all of us. Yeah, it's really good. This is helping me get through lying sick in bed with food poisoning. Oh, Leadfoot, I'm so sorry. So I also understand the pain. I hope you're well. And he also dabbed aggressively. Thanks, Leadfoot. I appreciate that. Right, Neferata is the Mortek of blood. She thinks of herself as the queen of all vampires and maintains an incredibly complex network of spies. While Neferata prefers political manipulation to threats of outright violence, her Legion of Blood is no stranger to warfare. When they do sally forth from their stronghold in Nulamia, the Death Rattles Legion, can we just take a moment to just say, like, how much Limp Bizkit really did for all writers in the future? You just put new NU in front of everything, and you can just rename stuff. Like, Limp Bizkit don't get enough credit for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd that we don't see as much of their second album, New Hybrid Theory, but it's they really did quite well.
Anyway, if you want to showcase the Dark Majesty of Death and Legion of Blood are peerless exemplars. Oh, it doesn't tell you anything about the rules.
Can I?
Oh wait, hold on. No, it does say. Sorry.
Oh.
When they do sally forth from their stronghold, add the fact that the Legion of Blood can take Black Knights as battle line units and have a reliable core of skeletal warriors around which to build your army. So if Black Knights are good, you can have them as battle line, which is cool. And if they're not, then whoop whoop. Right. So then,
I have a quick question for you beautiful boys in the chat. It does say that she's the Mortarch of Blood and she thinks of herself as the queen of all vampires. So this is a two-parter. One, is she not? Like she only thinks of herself that way?
Yeah, Nagash is the
second one-
queen.
Yeah, that was my next question.
both.
Who is the queen? If it's not
Nagash.
her, is there someone else who's like, hey, it's me? And it's like, oh, okay, Jessica, you get to be the queen now. Or, I mean, Nagash does have a bigger hat than her.
I think every woman and every vampire is a queen. I think that's one of the things we should all remember. And text our loved ones more, probably. That's always nice, isn't it? That's why I text you
my mum.
lately. Just a little shout out from intern Matt. Big love to him. They hired a new artist, Thomas Elliott. He's done a load of new Battletome covers recently. The He Knights of Slaanesh, the Daughters of Cain, and this, and the new rulebook cover. So I don't know if Thomas Elliott will have a Twitter, but if he does, we should go and like bomb him with like, "You've done a great work." So yeah, I mean this. What?
A great work.
Oh, he's done great. No, he's done great works. Many great works. Yeah.
I was going to ask which one it was, but now you've said there might be more than one. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. Good. Right, so the Castelli dynasty, the knightly orders. The Castelli are the most warlike and martial minded of the vampiric dynasties. These vampires reside in the Crimson Keep, a magical castle that has tendency to translocate from place to place.
Ooh.
The Folding Fortress. They have a strong preference for mounted warriors, all the better for catching up to the fortress when they get left behind. The real question is, in the Mortal Realms, who catches who? Does the fortress land on the fox, or does the fox never get caught by the fortress?
That's a great question. I bet the fox can just turn the fortress off, Connie.
Yeah, you can turn it off. Turn it right off is what you could do. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because they can blow up, can't they blow up terrain on 2+?
Yeah. After they've moved in your shooting phase next to your piece of terrain.
Yeah.
It's important, isn't it, that?
Yeah, who catches whom? Grammar alert. Thank you, Dude Our Day. Appreciate you. Whom catches whom in the Fortress versus Fox conversation? The Lord of the Crimson Keep is Prince Vordry, the Fist of Nagash. This mighty vampire leads his knights to war from the front, or more accurately from above on his zombie dragon. The well-drilled Castelli cavalry values feats of skill and strength in combat, and they become even stronger as the blood begins to flow. So I assume Blood Knights will be battle line in this particular sub-faction, right?
Oh, didn't they used to be Neferata's lads?
Yeah, you just said earlier that Blood Knights were Neferata's.
No, sorry, Black Knights are battle line in Neferata's.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's been downgraded. Or side-graded. Side-graded.
Well, I mean, what's better, the Blood Knights or the Black Knights?
Depends on the new War Scrolls.
Depends on the new kit prettiness.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, we're narrative channel.
That's true.
Don't be talking about that old War Scroll rubbish. Doesn't matter. How do I earn them in the campaign mode? That's what I want to know.
Oh my god, we haven't talked about that yet. Right, so then the Avangori dynasty, the Nightmare Brood. Okay, so the Avangori are gruesome horrors that have willingly abandoned the pretense of humanity and style, making their homes in underground lairs in the realm of beasts. They seek out the largest, most worthy brutes in Gur to feed on. Ultimately, their armies are little more than rampaging packs of monstrous undead creatures. Not only are the Avangori twisted in body, but their minds also become increasingly deranged over time. Other bloodlines see them as debased, but they know they're just a hair's breadth away from becoming just like them. Ooh. If you like armies full of massive fiends, like the incredible Luca Vi we recently revealed during Warhammer Fest, you can't go wrong with the Avangori. They're even able to take Terrorgeists and zombie dragons as battle line units. Feel free to imagine the look on your opponent's face as you don't activate twice with +3 attacks with rerolls to hit on the jaw attack. I'll be fine. I will smile like a child, is what I'll do.
Look on my face as well as I'm like, oh, no ethereal amulet. Yeah, come on, take 12. We've got this.
That's the subfaction led by the Rob, though, right?
The what? By the
Rob.
No, you're the only one who thinks that. That never stuck. It was a joke that didn't stick. Stop trying to make it work. It's not happening. Yeah, Nathan,
I love that she's the queen of Zoom meetings. Because from the waist up, looks very professional.
Yeah.
Waist down, naked and not great, which can pretty much describe a lot of me. But I enjoy that because the amount of Zoom meetings I've been on through COVID, where I'm just pretty much pantsless, but everything up here is looking good. That's her. I can imagine people show up to her castle and they're like, "Excuse me, madam, could we do a quick interview?" And she's like, "Absolutely, yes." They're like, "Maybe we do it outside." She's like, "Maybe we do it at this table." And so I dig that for her. I like that she's a party down below and professional up top. She is a mullet. She is the Age of Sigmar mullet.
Fucking lyrical gangster, you.
Yeah. So next up, the Virocus Dynasty. So this is going to be a bunch of Terrorgeists. Do you know what I've always found with all monster armies? They're super good for holding objectives. Really positive. The Virocus Dynasty, the Wolf Pack, is the unusual dynasty. Best faction. The unusual dynasty has developed a distinct culture. The legends say their soul-blight curse cannot be traced back to Nagash. Oh, but rather to a god beast. This is fucking cool, which would explain the strange nature of the affliction of their connection to totemic spirit animals. Chief among them is the aspect of the wolf. This connection manifests in the lupine features that can be found on the warriors and their ability to command packs of direwolves. Can we just take a moment right now to say, did anyone ever, I know the same guy that asked for this is also the guy that asked all the questions for the FAQs, but who out there was like, these direwolves, they need upgrading? Anyone? Was anyone...
The kit, you mean?
Yeah, they look fine. Direwolves
They
look
were
fine.
I'm not sure they look... I don't think they look... This is such bad English. I don't think they look better enough to make people replace them. Like, I think if you don't own any, you'd be like, cool, I'll buy those now. But I don't think you'd replace the ones you already had.
Nath, yeah, no, I'm with you. Nath, what were your thoughts on the direwolf? I mean, it's hot gossip on the internet at the moment, so I just wanted you to weigh in on this weighty issue.
Yeah, I thought they looked alright before. I mean, they look very nice now. If you like the dead dog sort of look, yeah, that's great.
Okay. Warhammer Nerd doesn't agree with any of us. He says, what the fuck are you smoking? They are swamp donkeys. Which is a strong take on the old direwolves.
Strong, in my opinion, appropriate words. I think there's a reason so many people use the, what was it? The Space Wolf ones, whatever they were called.
Fenrisian wolves.
Fenrisian wolves. There's a reason that most of the time that's what people used instead, because they looked a lot better.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use them.
I think they look... okay, so the new ones I think maybe look better, but like, you could have designed like, you know, like a horror, like a crypt horror level werewolf heavy infantry Kurnoth Hunter unit, right? Instead, with your time, just thinking, like, okay. Well, everyone seems to think that they were bad, so fine. Swamp donkeys. The matriarch of the bloodline, Belladama Volga, really hope she's not good, so I never have to say that again, makes no effort to suppress her animal core. Her lupine legs proudly on display. Rumour has it that her hulking mount, Rothabag, was once one of the matriarch's ill-fated suitors. What?
Sexy.
This is...
You know what? Looking at the photo
What's
of
going
her.
on at Games Workshop? The furries in the Lumineth, and now this.
But the thing is, looking at her, I think she's missed an opportunity. And I'm not saying that she needs to shave for aesthetics. I'm saying that looking at the picture, she's got these big hairy wolf legs. Can you imagine how disturbing that would be to her opponents if they were perfectly shaved? And
but also, look at her ex-boyfriend. He's probably into it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they want to terrify, right? They're the undead.
Don't you kink shame people on this channel?
Honestly, if one of my ex-girlfriends was like making you into a wolf, I'd be like, do you know what? Better than listening to you.
Oh.
Sit!
And we'll move on.
That's going to be, you know what? It means that every command ability works on them as well. Because it'll just, as long as you've got the right phrasing and the right hand with it, it'll be like, stay. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they're like, no, You're like, oh, damn it. Somebody throws like some little liver treats and they run off in the other direction. It'd be great.
Model, though. Great model. Great design. Love it. The Matriarch of the Bloodline, we've talked about that. On the tabletop, the variety of Vicross heroes, including Radikar the Beast, and all count as generals if it's taken from a Vicross army. That makes them a great option for players who like strong support from leaders and wizards, unless they lose the keyword and they get denationalized again, which could happen. Check back all week for blah, 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 blah. Okay, all right, so, I mean, the art's awesome. I'm just going to throw that out there. So I'm super into that. What else do you guys take away from this? Nathan, what have you taken out from this?
Yeah, I mean, the story sounds fun.
Yeah.
You could have a field day. Yeah. I mean, yeah. They look, and the models all look great. Even the one that people don't like, I think they look cool. So yeah,
You like it?
yeah, it's like a big centaur thing. Centaurs are the thing at the moment, obviously, for some reason. So yeah.
Okay, James, what do you think about this preview so far?
The art is the best we've seen in a long time.
Okay.
And I think this is a really weird one, because I think lots of people were super pumped about having like 100% vampire book, and what we're actually getting is Grand Alliance Death Book 3, pretty much. And I think that all split people. But hopefully it'll be super good. Be nice to see some like Death Armies looking like Death Armies again, instead of 2 dragons and like 15 direwolves.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Dan?
it's. I would say. Sorry, I'll go back to me again. I think it's probably a bit like the Gits release, in that you got loads of models, new models for stuff, and then they refreshed some of the War Scrolls, but a lot of it was stuff that they just updated and brought on from before, and just had a look at allegiance abilities and stuff like that. So I think it's a similar sort of vein to that.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. I guess some of the Death players might be a little bit miffed that they don't get like a whole full sea change, but it sounds like they're getting enough new stuff that's going to be different anyway, with the wolves and the monsters and the centaur.
Yeah, but like, what have they What have they really had? Like, Rulical Wargamer says, yeah, I wanted a pure vampire personally, but like, so we had new skeleton warriors. That's fine. They need new skeleton warriors. That's fine. New zombies. Yeah. Okay, that's cool too, I guess. Yeah. Like, just updating those kits. But then it's like, it's a cast of characters, which I guess like it would be a cast of characters that you summon, and like all the vamps are fairly important. But the vamps, like the characters, they're all named characters as well, right? Apart from the one named character. Radicar's named, the Hoof Lady's named, so they're all named characters. So
what about the other vampires? Aren't they not named? Like the ones with the red hair with all the bats?
Oh yeah, that might be a non-named one. Yeah, you're right.
And there's an unnamed one with the centaur vampire as well. It's a multi-kit.
Yeah. There's a non-named big character. Yeah, I agree. Like, it would have been nice to have seen another kit that was like something they haven't done before for like the troops or something. Like, like I said, like a big hulking skeleton, or like, some heavy infantry sort of stuff. I know they've got the heavy cavalry and the blood knights, and they look great, of course. But maybe we haven't seen everything yet. And of course, this is only going to be wave 1 of 2 to 3 waves. Yeah.
Honestly, I really like it. I know that we've teased a little bit. I think the background looks awesome. The art's spectacular, and love them or hate them, personally, I think setting my personal opinions aside, the models are spectacular. I don't necessarily love the centaur bat lady, but looking at that model and looking at the multi-kit, the design for me, I'm like, oh, I dig on that. Like it's got some cool vibes going on. It's really well done. And the big thing for me is, as someone who was building Legion and Nagash a little while ago, they were kind of flavorless. Like, I never felt like they had their own really unique character. And just like looking at that, I feel like there's some more to it. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. Nothing ever will be. But I suddenly find myself really excited to get into the lore of this book and see what armies you can build from it, rather than what it used to just be, which was pretty much take the best stuff vanilla. And it was like, Nagash does stuff, and these other guys do stuff for him as well. End story.
I like some factions. I like some factions that change what your battle line units are. I think that's always cool. Like, so you just got more of some stuff, which I think is great. Because if you love that stuff, you're like, fuck it, I'm doing this stuff. Let's go. Like, it's really exciting. And so and I really hope the sub-faction abilities that we haven't seen yet really do add that flavor that you're talking about, Dan. Because I think if anything, like they've done some, well, I mean, the community articles, anything to go by. They've made some real effort with the. Although have they? Like, I don't get it. Manfred is like not sneaky, but kind of sneaky. Yeah, he's the sneakiest. but then Neferata's got loads of spies and is super sneaky, like, and then Vordry's... Go on, James.
Didn't highlight Arcan.
No, well, he's in the OBR.
He's
isn't
Bone
he?
Reapers.
He's Bone
What? So
Reapers.
he's just done one. Like, wasn't he the best necromancer and Nagash's right hand man?
Which
That's
is
why
why
I
they're,
think-
yeah, that's why they're in.
Yeah.
That's why they're over there.
OBR.
Yeah.
Because they're
because
the
basically-
right-hand troops.
Yeah, because basically the Gravelords now, or Legions and Gash, but the Gravelords is like just some like death dudes who found some like they just raise up stuff. Like even they've said this the wolf ones didn't even directly come from Nagash, right?
Yeah.
Like whereas the Bone Reapers are like Nagash's army. He's like built
Best
them from
lads.
the ground up. Best lads. Like he loves them. He's like
Better than Terrorgeists.
so better than Terrorgeist. Yeah, they love it.
Just
Yeah.
checking.
Just reading it, it seems like a slight retcon for Legion of Night, which I like as well. In that because if you read it, they're not really saying that he's sneaky. They're more saying that he's like cunning, to like in that he's using bait and sacrificing pawns and things like that. So I like it. I like that Neferata's got the spies and she's kind of sneaky, whereas he's more of like brutal. Like this is what I want, self-serving, arrogant. And like some kind of Russian commander who's like, yeah, send in more plebs. And they're like, sir, we're running low on plebs. He's like, send them all in. Don't worry, I've got this. Once they've hit their killbot limit, then we'll go in and finish them off.
I think someone, Jug PLC's made a good point here. Nighthaunt should be out of the book. I agree with that massively.
Mhm.
Archon should be out of the book, and Nagash should be allowed in all death armies like Archeon. I think I agree with that as well. Although I think the one I'm mostly interested in is Vycroft Dynasty, the Wolf Pack. I really I love the model, and I think it's great. And like it's a nice twist. Like we haven't really had werewolves in the game, so it'd be really nice to see that. And see
Before
that take
someone
shape.
jumps in the chat, we know that skin wolves exist, but they were Forge World only and very brief and not very much used.
Also, because I learned it today, so I'm just going to share it with everyone because I thought it was kind of incredible.
Yeah.
She looks like she's in a silk dress, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that Genghis Khan once gave his army all silk vests? Because if you shot with an arrow, it doesn't break silk. So the arrow goes into you with the silk, and you can just pull the arrow out without it breaking.
Huh.
Oh,
That's right.
interesting.
I learned
Yeah.
that today, and I was like, this is insane. So the arrow still goes in you, you still get hurt. You can pull the whole thing out without breaking it because the silk doesn't break.
Far out.
Nice. That's actually
So what
really
you're saying
useful
is
around my
she's
ends.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah. She is, or she was his mum. One or the other.
She used to
Or-
work for him.
That's Genghis Khan she's riding right now.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good lesson.
Because I don't think they were ever certain where he was buried. She came along. It was actually just a really bad Tinder date. He went missing because they was like they got
He's
to
got
the
the
end,
scar from Milan.
and their server came up and was like, "Hey, are you ready for the bill?" And he said yes. And then the server looked at them and was like, "Together or separate?" And he obviously made the wrong decision there on date one.
Yes, I'm moving on because I don't want to talk about silk bow attacks anymore. But like, all good. Right. Okay. So,
did they mention where Radikar was, by the way?
so are you talking about? Did they mention where Radikar
Which-
is in the story? No.
Yeah,
No.
with-
Yeah. No.
with-
Radikar's in the wolf sub-faction.
In with the wolves. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
They said that on the tabletop, the variety of Viracos heroes, including Radikar the Beast and Belladamma, all count as generals if taken in the Vrykos army.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they're all going to be generals, which I think it would be cool. And that makes them a strong option for players who like support from Legions and Wizards, which is all fine. The fact that they're all Wizards means they're going to cost a little bit more, but hopefully they're really fighty, and also like you would hope that like the vamps are really good. Like it's not about stacking buffs on the skeleton warriors for them to do all the damage. It's like they said, you know, the skeletons just kind of pin you in, and then the vamps come and do some kicking, which would be good. And then obviously, yeah, so there's this weekend there's a wave of stuff on release, and then next weekend there'll be another wave of stuff. Right, okay, so onto the hot story, finally, is the 4 things you need to know about the next edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Woo!
Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Number 1, we had the game announced on Saturday, which is really exciting. and we've got some Stormcast models to talk about. So I'm going to start off with you, James. James, we'll go through. We'll go through. I'll go find the community article as well, actually, about the announcement day because it was on day 6. How do you feel about the Age of Sigmar 3 launch? Twitch chat, give me some thoughts and feelings on it as well. James, you're first.
All excited.
Okay.
Big excite, much wows, to the moon.
Okay.
Just going to give you hipster phrases. That's all I'm doing. Just going to make Warhammer cool again with this new box set.
Okay. Oh, right. Good. All right. So, Dan, where are you?
I'm in a pit of self-loathing, Rob. A pit of self-loathing.
Why?
Because I'm, like, edition-wise, I'm thrilled. I'm really excited for AoS3. Even if none of the rumors and everything's completely different, I love a big change-up and a shake-up. And my greatest disappointment with the GHB and the FAQ is that it didn't really shake up or change that much. So I'm excited for a change. The self-loathing, which I've started flagellating myself just to make sure I was in there, is that I really, really want to do a Stormcast army.
Should we send you more Liberators on?
None Liberators. And it's the new models that they've put out, and not even the flappy, stabby, sanguinius lady. It's the 2 regular crew that I'm just like, oh gosh, that design really gets me, and I really want to build it and paint it and play it. And anyway, so that's why I'm full of self-loathing, because I want to do a Stormcast chamber.
Okay, well, no, you're not the only one, if I can put that into context for you. Those guys have got me hype, yeah?
Okay.
I think, I tried to talk to you about this on the show the other day, and I don't want to go into it too much, but I'm a little bit unhappy with the angelic nature of the main character. I think it's a great sculpt, but I really don't want the Valkyrie style or angel style aesthetic to be applied to Stormcast. But that's a me thing. That's not an every person thing. But I think the battle line units are cool, and actually Thunderhammer fucking dick kicker, I'm super into him.
Oh.
I'm really, really horny for that fella. Nathan, my good friend, how do you feel about this launch?
Oh yeah, obviously super excited that we can play with watertight rules.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yep.
It's going to make a nice change. So looking forward to that. The Stormcast look all right. I don't think I'll be collecting those guys unless I do, and then I will. But I'm not planning on it. I'm hoping to see whatever they're fighting against, and excited to see what they're up against, really, because it sounds like it's destruction.
It does sound like it's destruction. What did you think of the video?
Sneaky destruction. The video's cool. Sneaky destruction, right up my alley. So I want to sneak around and stab some fuckers and nick some soldiers out from underneath a campfire and all of that shit. So let's do that. Yeah.
You know what the best move would be? Is if the new box comes out and it's Stormcast v Stormcast. And they're like, training montage, the box set. And all these people have been waiting for destruction or anything else. Just like, what? And they're like, yeah, so it's a great box to buy. Either you get one really big army to start off your new Stormcast collection, or 2 different people can start off Stormcast armies. Everyone's a winner. Eat a bag of dicks destruction.
I think it's going to be destruction too as well. Let's kind of fly through it, because we talked about this on the show the other day. But I want you to know, I want everyone to know where I sit on it. And I think number one, the artwork on the front cover is lush, truly lush. Really like it. While I'm not into what the model looks like, I think it just looks a great. So is all the other artwork. And again, more on that. Love the map. Love the map, because I've already decided where did I decide I'm from. I'm from Lookaway Point, which is in the southeast of this realm of Gur. I'm really excited about being from there. I've picked my homeland, so when I design an army, I'm going to be like, find a lookout point. It's going to be really cool. So happy with that. Because you got to pick a place. Where have you picked you're from? Where have you not picked where you're from?
Talk about the wonderful design in the map that everything looks like mouths and teeth. Like, God, just the art game is so strong at the moment. Like, look at the map and just everything. It's teeth, it's mouths, it's fangs, it's claws. I'm like, that's I know that it's really small, but I kind of geek out on that minute detail, and I think it's really great for the world and the building and everything.
I want people, Dan, I'm with you, and thanks to who said in the chat there, Real Polygeek, I'm from Elder Ret Rob. Like, I want people to just pick where they're from. You just pick a place. You'd be like, fuck you, I'm hanging out in the Bloodwitten Fjords. This is my land now. Yeah, just tell your story from being, like, I think that's cool. If we just pick now, and the next 3 years, we just row with each other about where's the coolest place, you could just stand for places like, James, if you want, you can be from Farthing Veldy. Or
I'm going wherever the crab is.
You're from the Underchasm Gulch.
I can't. Is the crab there?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It's a gulch. I think that's
cool.
where crabs hang out. I'm not a
Is
crabologist.
Is the worm on here? Because my favorite place was the worm, the city on the back of a worm, wherever that it was. I don't know.
I'm not sure where that is. I know Nathan's from Lake Hoarfrost.
What's that?
If you ask that makes inappropriate jokes really not funny and awkward, actually. So, please don't do that to me. Oh yeah. Anyway, so just looking at the maps. Right. So the model. So let's talk about. Okay. Well, two things we need to talk about. Number one, the announcement is very exciting. Okay. Very important. Yes. How do we feel about it being announced from someone's bedroom? And how do we feel it being announced with the wrong word on? For me personally, 45 out of 10. Over the moon about it. James?
Do you know, like, the bedroom doesn't bother me.
Right,
because
okay.
I think, like, everyone's probably seen, like, a Zoom meeting, a Skype business meeting, whatever they do, for whatever living, from somewhere that we wouldn't have done it from 2 years ago or whatever it is now, 19 months ago. So that bit doesn't bother me so much. I think as a single, like, if we just take it as a single AOS release, it's good. Like, it's exciting that it's coming. I'm pumped for the new models. I'm pumped for, like, some rules clarity and some tidying up. But I think if you look at it objectively in, like, the realm of stuff that Games Workshop have recently released, so, like, 9th edition 40k, not so good. Because I think, like, the hype for 40k was, like, big video, huge release, pumped box set. And instead what we've seen is a new slightly moving GIF, an awful graphic realm gate, and 3 models.
Yeah, Warhammer Nerd not happy that we're contextualizing the entire experience of the release as opposed to only focusing on the positive. I think it's worth noting because I think actually with the announcement today, thanks for the free food chain, you use the bread I don't like. It's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. Actually, what's actually going on is that 40k got a huge delivery of their game with a video, and actually this leads on to the conversation that we might be expecting it because they've also launched a website today at the same time. So, for context, you set up the bad delivery to talk about that it may have been early and we might be seeing a better delivery in the future, which is an interesting conversation if you allow the conversation to occur. Dan, how did you feel about it?
Like, I'm okay with how they did it. But for me, and I actually work in this a lot. So I work for a streaming company at the moment. I have to do a lot of online meetings. And for some of you that might not know, but plug, I wrote a little mini series that's doing the current rounds on the festival circuit. So I had to do a bunch of interviews. And obviously doing this as well. But I wanted a little setup for those interviews. I went on Amazon and I got a really nice but small portable camera. I got this foldable green screen. I got new tripods and a ring light, and I got a nicer microphone that I could just pack up and go on a really quick if I needed to do it anywhere, right? All of that cost me less than $170 Canadian. So we're probably looking at about £100. Now, I know that COVID's hard. I know that it's changed everything. But for a company that has the money it has and is investing the money on display and on appearance, the way you do something matters. That's why I personally, like, for a lot of these, like even Zoom meetings that I have to go to, I take pride in how I present it. Now, if you've invested years and presumably millions of dollars over the course of your Age of Sigmar in developing this brand and doing this release, not giving people like $100 to throw on Amazon Prime they don't even need a green screen. Just put a blue screen behind you and don't color key chroma it. Just have a flat blue background. For me, that would show value in how you're presenting the thing. Now, I know that people are going to say that we're picking out the bag and we're doing all of that, but I just genuinely think it doesn't take much money and it doesn't take much effort. It takes very little to take what was kind of really obvious, and like that, it would have been schmick and professional, and instead of us even having to have this conversation, it just wouldn't have been a thing.
Well, let's all talk about it. Let's all talk about it, because it's Warhammer Nerd in the chat who's brought it up, and it's fair. I'm not trying to provoke a conversation. I just think the reason that it's an interesting conversation, and I wanted to ask my co-hosts how they feel about it, because if they released a new Destruction faction, Nathan wouldn't care if they did it via a Happy Toy inside a box of cereal. Yeah? Like, he would be over... I think, Nathan, you'd be okay with that?
That sounds perfect. If they're going to release it in the bedroom, they could come and do that in my bedroom. That's fine.
All right, I think.
To me, I guess I'm not that bothered, but then that's because I was there and like Warhammer's my hobby and all of that. So if that's their target audience is the people that are already in the Warhammers, then maybe it matters less to them. But then if you're like trying to do a proper professional delivery and you're hoping to maybe hit a few other people that are out and about, maybe some D&D people and stuff like that, get them interested, then maybe you would want to do something about the presentation. But then I'm not...
well, that kind of keys into the question I wanted to ask next, which I think is, because there is a microsite with a countdown on it for 19 days, or 18 and a bit days now, which I think is actually very, very exciting. I think what's a shame is I really love the game. Thanks, Lord Wilco, for subscribing. And I think it's a little bit disappointing that that is the best version of it that we got as an announcement. Because I think the model's cool. Because actually one of the things I've been talking about a lot is I'm pretty frothy to find out about the new faction because of the video. I think that that's a really, really good... I think that's a really, really good thing and an exciting thing, right? For us, as a community, to be excited about it, because they didn't show everything. They just showed us some Stormcast, and they showed us some slimmed down Stormcast. Anyway, I don't think the delivery system was particularly well done.
And for people that are pointing out, it's about making us feel comfortable with the people. We're seeing they're human. We're seeing their hobby spaces. I completely do get that. But what I'm talking about is marketing. I'm talking about design, marketing, and what you want to execute. Because if the goal was for us to feel like we were engaging with them on a personal level, absolutely use those cameras, but it's at odds with the rest of the presentation. Have it more local. Have them playing the game while they're talking about whatever. You can do it anyway. But when you have these really nice, I'm watching it now, these edited things with the flash cuts, music, character models coming across the screen, showing off art. It looks so awesome. And then you go to a couple of guys in their bedroom.
Well, I think one of the things that kind of upsets me a little bit as well, before we get on to the exciting parts, is, do you remember the last time we had a countdown timer? Does anyone remember the countdown timer that we had last?
Wasn't it? It was to stories, wasn't it?
I feel like a lawkeeper at this point of the situations. That yes, thank you, Twitch chat, thank you. If some people remember, if you don't remember the last time there was a countdown, I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was disappointing though. The end of the countdown is all I'm gonna say. Anyway, right, let's talk about these models. So, how do you guys feel about the Beast Slayer? Nathan, I know you're quite keen on this.
The Beast Slayer?
Yeah. Well, sorry.
On the
Yinjester.
yeah. Oh yeah, she sounded cool. I like the way that she makes the other Stormcast a bit nervous because she's a bit loopy. She's a bit of a rogue, like a bit vicious. So they're like, look at her sideways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. I thought that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets the job done.
James, how do you feel about her?
I think like I just love it. Like, and the quality, like, I don't know. I'm going back there because sod it, I can. Like, quality of release. My debate was never someone's bedroom because I think like that might just be what's happened. In my opinion, that doesn't matter at this time. But like, someone's designed that model, someone's built that model, someone has painted that model, all of which huge fan of. And then as it got released with a big fat giant typo.
Well, I mean, it's the funniest release of all time. Because they were like,
it was hilarious.
because of this.
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this. Everything.
And there was a fucking typo. Like, it's hilarious. Like, it's a hilarious release. Like, it's worth talking about. The problem is what I want is them to release the game. I want the new rules. I'm very excited for that. But what I fervently hope, and what I wasn't getting from the two guys in the bedroom with the typoed release, was that they'd put loads of thought and energy into making it good. And it's different departments. That's something to talk about. The different departments are, the typo correction was deliberately omitted. Is a good joke, right? I know it's different departments, the marketing team to the rules team, but after the winter FAQ and its non-release, and with some like heavy-handed FAQ stuff, I think, like recently, like I think ultimately I'm a little bit concerned because I'd really like it to be great because I just want to swing and I just want to go into the edition like super excited, and that's just something that put like a bit of a burr in me. Like I was a bit like, oh, for God's sakes, like dudes, like it's funny, like. It's very funny, like, and we can talk about that all day. But I think the model is freaking sweet, is the point. And I like the direction that they've gone. Well, actually, let's talk about that, because that's where we get to talk about this, the Reforged Stormcast Eternals. So a bit of spoiler for everyone. So just, if you want to close your ears for 2 seconds. So Be'lakor has made it so you can't reforge through the mist. Yeah? Okay, that's the story.
Well, not always. Like, it's just, it used to be that Stormcast, they didn't want to die. They weren't, it's not like they were going out and being like, yeah, well, some of them were. Some of them were like really getting really fucked up. But now not all of their souls get back. Like, Be'lakor's kind of messed it up.
Yeah, that effectively. So then now that's given them a reason to write that these new Thunderstrike armor Stormcast, so that's why they're different. Because now these guys are able to ignore it. Also, I'm assuming that these guys will have a 3-up armor save over the 4-up armor save that we see on Liberators, because the other guy that we saw has got a 2-up armor save. So I think that's going to be very strong, especially if the rumors of being able to add +1 save to units is available. So you could have 2-up armor save Stormcast. I assume they're going to have 2 wounds each, maybe even 3. One of the things we saw in 40k was they started to add loads of numbers. We did a really good show on this recently, that it just makes sense because your dudes have got more numbers. Like, I do more damage with my numbers, but I've got more wounds on my numbers. So it's just bigger numbers and it just seems more fun. So I could see that happen. I could see them having 2 wounds. I could see them having 3 wounds, with the Thunderstrike bro having 4 wounds. But maybe that's not the case.
I like the fact about the armor is that it was made by Grungi the Maker.
Yeah, talk to me about that. Why?
He's back.
Because he obviously he was at the end of the Be'lakor book as well. And so he's around. So hopefully he gets some of the Dwai motivated. Yeah,
he's kind of been in a self-imposed exile for a while, so the fact that he's kind of coming back is rad.
Well, because you and Nathan gave up on him.
Come again?
You switched to other armies.
That is true, isn't it?
never forgot my first love.
What are you currently building, Dan?
What was the last
currently
game that we
building,
played against each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing my dwarves against whatever it is, whatever you had. My
Elves,
City
probably.
of Sigma dwarves against your... No, I'm talking to Rob and his fun
yeah.
siege things that he plays with, whatever it was.
Hey man, they discontinued my whole army. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't even have like. You got Grungy coming back. Where's Hushut? Where's Bio Hushut?
Your
And
little
your
homebrew faction
imagination.
doesn't get shit, Rob.
Oh wow!
'Cause- But yeah, I these Stormcast just have grabbed me straight away from looking at them. And honestly, it's the design. I like that. See, for those who are not listening on the podcast, if you're looking at them, look at the helmets. They've still got the golden helmet with kind of the sunburst, but it's not attached and floating off the back. They look functional and they look dynamic. My problem with Liberators and Sequitors, they were so heavily armored and so bulky, they didn't look like they could move or fight or be dynamic. You look at this, and if you go and have a look at the poses of the other ones, like in particular, I think it's the Malice, the Sons of Malice, the daughter of Malice in the black armor. She legitimately looks like dangerous, like she's flying around. And I love the design. I love the look. I'd really like to swap those tower shields for like round hoplite shields, but it's great design. The little guys look dynamic and like they can move. The big bloke looks like he is just a brick shithouse. He's a breeze blocker pain. And he looks immovable, which matches the 2-up armor save they're going to give him. It's just design done well. And it's the first time Stormcast design has reached through the screen, grabbed me by the throat and said, "You call me daddy now?" And I went, "Yes, daddy." That's what these Stormcast models have done.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Like, I am really into... the only thing I said it on the release show, and I've seen people do mock-ups of it since. As soon as you change the head, you've just got knights. And I assume this is just the first of a billion different versions of these. They're going to have spear bros, we're going to have hammer bros, like a bunch of different stuff, like maybe glaives or maces. So, like, I'm very excited for these. James, you're all in on these. You love these guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 6,000 points of Stormcast. So this is probably going to stop me buying a second Star Drake, because every time I think about doing it and read the rules, I cry.
That's fair. That's fair. Nathan, you don't like them?
Oh, I don't mind them. Yeah, they look all right. I'm not. I've got nothing against them. I'm just wanting the guy that made their armor to have a word with his people.
Okay, all right. No, I'm with you. Because this guy's going to be good. I love the big Thunderstrike, bro. I think maybe he's been causing some consternation. And I guess rules-wise, we've got to talk about the fact that it's a 2-up armor save base on a unit. We haven't seen that before. Apart from obviously Kragnos has got that as well. There are some examples, but like generally 2-up armor save, pretty wild. Stormcast normally suffer to mortal wounds. Not really, rend is not really their issue. So that'll be quite interesting. But I think phenomenal. But yeah, 2-up saves is going to be really serious, especially if these come in. Go on.
Sorry, I just want to know, like, so the fact that he has the same save as a centaur, does that push your buttons? Yes or no?
Oh, great question, Nathan.
What? What? He's got the same save as Scraggy's horse. Good for him. Scraggy will ride him as well then.
Okay. I mean, a 2-up armor save is pretty stonks, ultimately, and I think they're good. Okay, all right. Well, we don't need to talk too much about those because like they've been talked out a bit. There's also the Stay Out of Our Mire video, which I think is very exciting, which looks like there's something creepy in woods. There's been loads of talk. Is it Silent People? Is it Vermeer? Is it New Orcs? Is it like Hobgoblins? There's loads of leaks. There's loads of rumours. There's loads of suggestions.
If it's Vermeer, 100% they're going to get a retcon for their rules. I'm just going to leave it there because anyone who remembers what the Vermeer background was knows exactly what I'm talking about. And anyone who doesn't, you never need to know or picture it because there's probably a Rule 34 of it out there somewhere and I would never like to find it.
Well, my favourite version of this is now Dan's suggestion that it's now Swampy Stormcast, which is perfect.
Really? Overdue our day suggestion?
What is
Shrek
it?
people.
Is it
Shrek
Legion
people.
of Asgaroth in plastic?
It's not those though. It's not
Can you
those.
imagine if it was though?
But they don't live in swamps.
They do now.
Yeah, they might do now.
'Cause
They've
they're
got
like
no balls left.
All other dwarves are good and live in like traditional good dwarvy places, and then your little homebrew crew get to live in a peat bog. That seems appropriate to me.
And they liked centaurs, didn't they? They might be destruction now.
I mean,
True.
they are a figment of your imagination, so they are in your head, which is a swamp of
I hate
sorts.
doing this show. Right, okay. Gobbos aren't tall enough for swamps. That's a good point. Swamp Kernothi for destruction following the big centaur dad. Oh, that's an interesting take. Okay, right. So, all exciting it's got announced. We're all hype. We're in that weird position, though, between announcement and actual release. We still got the Kragnos book to come out. We still haven't had that. So we're in this countdown. There's a countdown of 18 days, which I think might be showing our new stuff. Adam Troke did say on the show, which I think Eddie told him off for, that there were 2 more reveals. So if they want those Twitch subs to reignite, there's going to be one next month and one the month after. So I think that's going to be our process for seeing it. So I would assume I'm going to go for July as the release for Age of Sigmar 3. That's my guess, is what I'm going for.
They'll probably, the thing is, they want to do it fast, because whenever you release a new edition, you slow sales. And I mean this in a genuine way as well, not to be like, oh, they just want to sell like they're a business, and businesses want to sell us models, and we want to buy those models. But whenever there's a new edition, people slow down their purchase because they're waiting to see what's going to come, what's going to change.
It's like a fragile balance, isn't it? Because what they want to do now is build hype so that when they release a box set, there'll be some people that are like, I don't want either faction, but I'm buying it, and they sell, which I imagine is probably what happened with the 40k one. But also, yeah, like if I'm currently buying KO or if I'm currently buying Skaven, am I going to go and drop 150 quid on more models, or am I going to be like, oh, I might not be able to use any of them soon in the build that I want to use them in, so then I'm going to wait. So I think it's a weird balance of it, isn't it? They've got to build some hype, but you've also got to release it fast enough that then people explode and buy models.
It's genuinely, I don't like, in the same way that I was giving them shade for not spending a couple of $100 on their streams earlier, I will say that I do not envy the person that has to work out the exact timing and date range and do all the financial forecasting and analysis for that. I know we've just gone very far away from hobby stuff, and Rob, I believe you're probably laughing because you reckon that they just don't do any of that and they're just like, roll the dice, let's do it. But genuinely, I respect the business level that requires, because that would be really shitty to try and manage.
Yeah, I imagine it's a very complicated procedure to roll whatever bones they do in the cup they ask the old guys to do. Anyway, right, so let's get fucking into it. Taking my shirt off, I'm so excited. Right, 4 things you need to know about the next edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Let's get hype. 4 things.
Lay 'em on me.
4 things.
Because I can only count to 3 after a small boating accident, so I'm going to need you to count up for me.
Okay, all right, so, very exciting.
Not gonna make
First one, the story continues. So, 40k, when it got released, they had like a 9 new things about 40k sort of thing as an article. It's like 9 new things about 40k because it was 9th edition. This is the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar, and we've got 4 things we need to know. It's kind of the same, but just kind of the same.
Like a horse, like a centaur, this reveal has 4 legs.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So the story continues, which obviously, did anyone think that would have been? I mean, is that earth-shattering news to anyone? Like
100%. I thought they were going to stop.
Yeah.
No more story.
I thought that was the end of the story.
But okay, but think about it this way: for a company that left Warhammer Fantasy and 40k pretty much in Groundhog Day for decades. They've only been advancing the story for a few years now. Comparatively, that is a drop in the ocean. I can see how that's still an exciting concept.
Very exciting. Right, so next up, built. So that was number 1. Like that intern really pushing the boat out on that one. This is like on your word count. It's like just putting my name in count for hitting hitting that.
Instead
right.
of by, it's written and prepared by, and you're like, nailed it.
Right, built to work with existing battle tomes. Okay, the core rules for playing Warhammer Age of Sigmar may be seeing some pretty major changes, but your existing battle tomes will work just as well as they always have. In fact, the new edition has been designed around the current books to give you the most seamless transition possible. So, built around the current books. So, you'll be able to use all your current books, like Beast of Chaos, and all the other stuff in this, which is perfect. So, that's good. That means you don't have to buy any new books unless they release any new books. Interesting thing about this picture that was pointed out to me is almost everything in this picture, other than the models, is unpurchasable now by Games Workshop. That Wildwood, you can no longer buy that. This tape measure, you can no longer buy that. Most of this scenery you also can't buy.
None of that scenery you can buy anymore.
Could we also talk about like the points disparity between the KO and the orcs here? Like, if I presumably it's the KO
It's a narrative game.
No reason those guys aren't in the boats. These greenskins are about to get shit mixed.
It's narrative though.
Okay, it's narrative.
So it doesn't matter.
Also, who is rolling their dice in those spaces between the models? What maniac put those dice down and were like, this is where we roll them on this table?
We didn't talk about the Gravelords dice though. They look great. Right, anyway. So, it's not to say you won't be getting any updates in the future. The changes being made to the core rules allow for all sorts of exciting new opportunities for your favourite factions. In fact, changes to one feature in particular will give your armies a hugely updated way to grow as they battle. What is that thing, you ask? I'm so excited I can't even say it. The new and improved Path to Motherfucking Glory. This is the, like, stop the press. We don't want any other news. Oh, baby. Warhammer Age of Sigmar has always been a narrative-driven game, and while the existing rules allow you to follow a champion as they amass glory points and fight for domination, the new edition will expand the campaign system even further. So good. So good. We'll have more information about this narrative game mode coming to the future, but for now, those who have experienced Crusade in Warhammer 40,000 might be able to imagine some of the deployments your campaign forces will go through on their path to glory. So, I know you guys don't... Nathan, I don't know you don't play a load of 40k because of the sharper bullets, but Crusade is this thing that they stuck between all the match play rules that is played widely. In fact, I have had to mute some people on Twitter because of how much they go on about it. It's just a bit much. James, you've been in 40k. Have you done some Crusade?
So I'm going to try and be super positive here because actually, like, I can just see in the chat there's loads of people super pumped for it.
Yeah.
So I have to say that I got into 8th edition 40k, somewhere in between all the lockdowns, by basically making up our own rules and just rolling dice and buying models. It was super good fun.
Mm-hmm.
When 9th edition came out, we were all super pumped. We were going to do some Crusade. And I know that we could have retconned it probably ourselves a bit. But we just found it like really weird that it ran on power levels and not points. And then it seemed super imbalanced. So I've never played it. So I feel like I probably shouldn't have an opinion, but I found it more complicated than I would want narrative gaming to be. But it might be because I spent not enough time reading it.
Dan?
I have tried multiple times to get into Path to Glory, so I'm happy to say that I am a meat eater who's been to the slaughterhouse in this regard, and I every time I try, I kind of never get past the first few battles because... And I enjoy narrative game. Don't get me wrong. Played a bunch of them. Really like narrative gaming. But that's when we just build our narrative, put our armies on the table, find some of those wicked narrative rules. Like, remember they released a bunch of rules for it, put together a wicked battle with all sorts of twists and turns, and it's awesome. Path to Glory for me is stuck in between narrative and competitive play because there's too much structure for me for narrative, but not enough for... Anyway, it's just for me it misses the mark. I am not commenting for everyone. I'm just saying I've tried to do it. Every time I try, it's between two worlds, so I never get everything that I want.
Right, let me be clear. Yeah? Let me really fucking zoom in on this one. This is super important to me. I love Path to Glory so much. Games Workshop, if you're listening. I love it so much. I wish that they expanded it further. So big, in fact. So good. So much work was put into it that it got its own book. So, like, when hold on. So, let's say I get my new Stormcast book, right? I'd like my Stormcast Path to Glory book as well. Like, not in between the rules, because I feel like it's not giving justice to Path to Glory. They're not giving it enough screen time, really. Like, and I want to see more effort put in. I almost want it to be separate. So the people who love Path to Glory and think it's brilliant, they can purchase a whole book with so many campaigns and just loads of different stuff. And I think that would be, like, just put it in there, like, every time. So then, also great for Games Workshop, because then they can sell 2 books. Because as you can imagine, I'll have to buy the Match Play book. But I will ferociously be excited about buying the Path to Glory book in addition to the core book. In addition. So that's my fervent hope for Path to Glory, is that it's removed from the core book, but not in a negative way, like you might be thinking.
No.
In a positive way, so it gets its own, like, love and effort, and that's where I hope most. Yeah. How does that sound? Would that be up your street?
I think that sounds like the best way to support this game. For it to be completely quarantined from regular play. Like it coughed on a subway, and so everyone was like, you go to your own car now. That's what Path to Glory should be. It was like, oh no, and everyone just went, shh.
Hey, for the people who love it, I'm so happy you love it. I just would love it to not be between the match play rules. That's my only thing. I don't care about it existing or not existing. I just want it to be not in the match play rules. That would be my...
In battle times, I wish it was in the back of the book. Because the thing, like, I always struggle to find it when I'm flipping to it, because it's just in the middle of nowhere, and so I've got to go through so many... But you'll be flipping through, and it's like, cool, army rules, like faction rules, sub-faction rules. I'm like, yeah, artifacts, all of that, great. And I'm like, okay, where are my battalions? Where are they? And then you have to flip through Path to Glory and all of that shit, and then you get to battalions, and then it's just, yeah.
You don't need them soon, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Like, a lot of time.
Books are pretty slimmed down now. No battalions, and if Path to Glory goes to a separate book, it'd be like 8 pages. It'd be fucking
paperback.
Wicked. Yeah, paperback. Would you be more into paperback books? I think, yeah.
Paperback book, $5. Cool.
Yeah. Right. So then finally, a new launch box is in the works. Is something new about?
Give me 3.
Give me 3.
And if there's not that many, I'm going out there. I'm going to buy 3. Okay. And I'll sell you whatever half's not Stormcast. Chat, I'll go halves with any of you, but you don't get the Stormcast.
Okay, so there's an 18-hour countdown. So one of the things that happened with the 40k launch, and I think will happen with the Age of Sigmar launch, and I'd like our community at least to be conscious of, is that more than likely it will be a limited edition box that sold out like Indomitus box did. So I would just like you all to be conscious of that. I'm not bringing it up as a negative, although it is a negative. I'm bringing it up for everyone so that they can be like, cool, I know on pre-order day, to go like pre-order myself a copy because it will sell out, like Curse City and Indomitus and everything else. So I think that's just something that has to be said by us as content creators for the people listening at home, so they can feel like, okay, sweet, like that, like I know that now. So I think that's really important. So yeah. I mean, exciting, right? Nathan, do you think you might be getting this box? I think I might be, because I really like the Stormcast. I think they look super sweet.
Yeah, I reckon, because you'll probably want some of the other gumph that comes with it. And then, I'm sure somebody would want to swap Stormcast for whatever the other thing is. So, yeah, definitely. If there's Gobblepalooza and the other half, I'm in. Or whatever it is.
I hear that's all the other half is. It's just 5 Gobblepaloozas versus an army of Stormcast Eternals.
Which means we know.
I hope not, because we know they're definitely already out of stock of Gobblepaloozas. Don't know where they are though. Don't know where those Gobblepaloozas are.
As long as they don't do the thing that they did for the Soul Wars box, where they don't give you a full unit's worth of models.
Where they're like 100%, you're not getting enough units.
Oh my god!
You know the big dude, the big brick shithouse that they've shown off there. He'll be like, I am phenomenally strong and fielded with 2 of my brothers in a unit of 3. They're going to give you 1.5.
No,
like they'll be like,
2.
You'll get like 2, that, Dan.
And then they'll be in an easy to build 2 box, because every set of Stormcast has not been enough models. Wasn't it 8 Liberators in the first one?
Yeah.
And then an easy build and 3 Retributors. And then the next box was 8 Sequitors, 3 Evocators, and then some easy build boxes. But the easy build box of the Evocators was then 3, so you always had 1 extra.
It's a while.
Maths is hard. Maths is so hard. Like,
Listen.
I'm sorry, give them a break. I know how to put up a green screen and stand in front of a webcam, but counting to minimum unit sizes requires all of your fingers and all of your toes. And if you worked in construction with circular saws, there's a chance you don't have all of those. As previously mentioned.
Nath, what are your thoughts about the launch box? Cohen Canberra, thanks for subscribing. Thanks everyone for tuning in live. There's loads of you watching today. Super awesome of you. I hope you're all well. Nath, what are your thoughts about that launch box, baby?
Yeah, I just need to see what the other offers, and then I'll probably be in on it.
Okay. So is there a destruction army that you wouldn't purchase? Like if it was destruction, but it was I'm trying to think about things that you hate. Really organized accountants.
In the forest, in the swamps. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'd give it a miss. Yeah. Okay, I'm not into the destruction accounting crew, but other than that, yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. No, the chat have got you. What if it's an elven army, but destruction?
Oh.
Oh, he hesitates. He's thinking.
I don't know.
That's kind of like you can give it, but you got to take it as well. Sort of a question, isn't it?
Bog trolls. It's an army of bog trolls, but they've got pointy elf ears, and they identify as elves.
But yeah, there won't be elves if they're destruction, will they?
I don't know though. There's chaos elves now, and that's pretty unheard of.
Chaos elves.
Yeah, there's like in the Poison Tongue. Oh, that's what. Okay. The Warcry faction. There are elven chaos ones.
Are there?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Fang.
if elves turn into destruction, then they become something else. Fairies, then I'm in. Destruction
fairies. Okay, all right. I think that's everything today, right? I think we've talked about all the news. There was a lot of news, lots going on, and I'm sure that'll continue. A whole new battle tome coming out this weekend. Well, it will be on pre-order, which means like all the rules will be out. I did not see the leaked war scroll from SBGL, Soulblight Gravelords. Can we not call them the SBGL? Can we not just call them the Gravelords? It's so much easier if we just shorten it down to a G, or a GL,
or we just call them the Vamps.
Yeah,
like the band.
Yeah, TVs.
I think the Glords.
The Glords.
The Glords. GL. I'm thinking
Vamps.
GL at least. The
Vamps. There was a band, wasn't there? Wasn't there a band called the Vamps? What song did they sing? We could go off to it and piss off Jog because he'd have to edit the video.
Relays.
The G-Lords. G-Lords works for me too. Or LON2, that's fine.
The G-Lords. I kind of like it because it sounds either like they're a bunch of dickheads at a club or like slightly sexual but unconfirmed.
Okay, all right, that's fine with me. All right, have you guys got any shout-outs today before we head out? And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the show. It's hugely appreciated that you're here every week, or every day in some cases. Much love to all of you. You're an amazing community of people that tune into the show, so thanks. Thanks to all of the thugs over on YouTube, and of course, podcast homies, stay hydrated. Dan, you got any shout-outs for us today?
Shout out to my mum, because I hope that I've gleaned just a tiny piece of your awesomeness, because as admitted, I've come to terms with the fact that she's better than me and cooler than me. She'd probably be a better Age of Sigmar host than me if she could stop riding a motorbike or a yacht for long enough to do it. So shout out to her.
Okay, that's fine. Nathan, what about you?
No. Thanks, though.
Fucking hell. James?
I'm going to shout out to Dan's mom.
Good.
I'm gonna try
Stay
and
away from her.
try and work out how much a yacht costs for the rest of this week. And if I can sell my house and buy one, I might be going wherever Dan's mom is with a yacht.
What else do you
What?
need?
Are you my new
Nothing.
dad? So what's my allowance like? As long as it's enough for new Stormcast, I'm fine with it.
Right. Hey, listen, it's an exciting time for all of us in the hobby and the community for Age of Sigmar 3, so let's get hype and enjoy ourselves. Thanks, everyone. We're going to do a raid now and go just make someone feel happy and go watch some people, so it's going to be super fun. So I've put that in the chat. Thank you to my 3 co-hosts. You're all wonderful people, and it's a pleasure to be able to have some jokes about something we all love with all 3 of you, so appreciated. And then we're going to, we can't leave without a final word from...
Everything we hope is completely watertight. We've really explained everything that needs to be explained. There should be no room for ambiguity or interpretation at all in this.